A wise person silently cuts of 6 types of people. Modern Stoicism. Have you ever noticed how truly wise people don't waste time arguing, explaining, or chasing after the wrong people? They don't slam doors. They don't send long goodbye texts. They just disappear from the lives of those who drain, manipulate, or stunt their growth. It's not cold, it's not cruel, it's necessary. Today we're diving into the types of people a wise person silently cuts off. No drama, no second chances. Some of these might sting, some might make you rethink your circle. And hey, some might make you realize why certain people disappeared from your life. Let's get into it. By the way, if you enjoy deep, thought-provoking insights on stoicism, self-improvement, and navigating life with wisdom, you'll love my free newsletter. Every Sunday, I share powerful lessons, controversial truths, and practical strategies to help you level up. All for free. Want to join? Sign up using the link below and start receiving value-packed content straight to your inbox every week. And if you're a brand looking to sponsor my content and reach a highly engaged audience, feel free to reach out via my email in the description. Let's create something impactful together. Number 1. The overpromiser, underdeliverer. Let me tell you something you already know, but may need to hear again, especially if you're the kind of person who values loyalty, ambition, and integrity. One of the biggest Stoic secrets to preserving your energy, protecting your focus, and maintaining your peace is recognizing this one thing. People reveal their intentions not through what they say, but through what they do. So let's talk about a type of person who appears in many forms but always leaves the same wreckage behind. The overpromiser, underdeliverer. You've probably met someone like this. They walk into your life with grand visions, promising you the moon and stars. Big things are coming, we're going to crush this together, this is the next big move. But when it's time to execute, when the moment demands real action, they vanish. Silence, excuses, delay, and before you know it, you're standing alone with your time wasted, energy drained, and hope misplaced. Here's where it gets deeper and, yes, darker. Many overpromisers aren't trying to hurt you on purpose. They're not even lying to you. They're lying to themselves. They thrive on the dopamine rush of a promise made, not the discipline of a promise kept. It's self-deception in action. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, warned us, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one. That's the contrast. A Stoic doesn't promise, they show up. They act. They deliver. But these overpromisers, they will infect your vision, pollute your momentum, and leave you chasing shadows. And the most dangerous part? If you don't cut them off, you might become one. That's the contagion. That's the warning. Let me get personal for a second. I had my own mic. Every conversation was a pitch, every meeting a brainstorm, every text message filled with hype. This is it, man. But the results? Always delayed, always next week. Until one day I realized I wasn't building anything real. I was babysitting someone else's fantasy. That's when I remembered something Epictetus said. Attach yourself to what is spiritually superior, regardless of what other people think or do. Hold to your true aspirations no matter what is going on around you. And I walked away, not with drama, not with bitterness, just silence. Because that's how a wise person moves, quietly, purposefully, without needing validation. So let me ask you, have you ever been caught in the gravitational pull of an overpromiser? Someone who talks like a partner but acts like a ghost? Or, and be honest, Have you ever been that person? Making promises because it feels good, not because you're ready to follow through? There's no shame in seeing it now, but there's real harm in pretending it's not happening. The Stoics teach us that clarity is power and illusions are chains. So, what do you need to see more clearly right now? Seneca wrote, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you. Welcome those whom you yourself can improve." That's the standard. If someone's presence in your life is only subtracting, not multiplying, you already have your answer. You don't argue with patterns, you observe, and you exit. No announcements, just alignment. So, here's the takeaway. Stop listening to people's words. Watch their feet. If someone claims they're building something massive but can't show up to a simple meeting, they're dreaming, loudly but uselessly. If they keep failing you with a smile, they're not your ally, they're your anchor. And life's too short to drag dead weight uphill. Walk away, not because you're cold, but because you're clear. Because you're done rehearsing the same lesson. Because time, as the Stoics say, is the one thing you truly own. Don't squander it on empty promises. And now, I'll leave you with this. Who in your life do you need to stop chasing? And who do you need to become to make sure you're not the one others need to walk away from? Let's talk. Drop your thoughts, your reflections, your wake-up calls in the comments. We're here to grow together. Number 2. The one-up machine. Have you ever shared something you're proud of, like landing a new job, hitting a fitness goal, or just experiencing a personal win, only for someone to immediately chime in with how they did it bigger, faster, or better? That's the one-up machine. These people don't listen to cheer you on, they listen to outdo you. You say, "I got a promotion." They say, "Cool, I got 2 last year." You say, "I ran a marathon." They reply, "I did it barefoot and uphill, both ways." Sound familiar? At first it might seem like they're just competitive. Maybe you even laugh it off, thinking it's harmless. But this goes deeper than that. It's not confidence, it's insecurity in disguise. These folks can't handle not being the center of attention. Your success feels like a threat to their ego. So instead of celebrating your moment, they hijack it to boost their own image. And if you're not careful, their behavior starts to change you. Little by little, you begin to shrink your wins. You stop sharing your excitement. You hold back your light just to avoid being overshadowed. And that's dangerous, not because of them, but because you're starting to live small in response to someone else's lack of self-worth. Here's where modern Stoicism speaks loud and clear. Epictetus once said, "Keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best." That's a Stoic lesson rooted in deep self-respect. The people around you shape your experience. If you're surrounded by folks who always compete instead of celebrate, you're inviting chaos into your calm. It's not just annoying, it's soul-draining. I knew a guy once, let's call him Jake. Jake was the ultimate one-upper. No matter what you said, he had done it better. I told him I was learning a new skill. He said he mastered it years ago. I mentioned trying a new diet, and he claimed he invented it. It got so ridiculous, I eventually stopped talking about anything meaningful around him. And you know what happened? I started fading. My joy dulled. My confidence dipped, not because I wasn't proud of myself, but because I didn't want to be challenged every time I opened my mouth. That's when a quote from Marcus Aurelius hit me like a brick. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one. I realized I didn't need to fix Jake. I didn't even need to call him out. I just needed to walk away. Slowly, I created distance. Conversations got lighter, my energy came back, and most importantly, I reclaimed my space. So here's the real question. Who makes you feel like you need to dim your light to make them comfortable? Who turns your victories into competitions? And why are they still in your circle? The Stoic path isn't about drama, it's about clarity. When someone shows you they can't celebrate you, believe them. You don't need a confrontation, you need boundaries. Sometimes that looks like the silent cutoff. Other times it's the sarcastic reverse Uno. Oh, you've been to space? That's wild. I just got back from Jupiter. But most of the time, it just means moving your energy elsewhere. Modern Stoicism reminds us to focus on what we can control. And guess what? You control your energy. You control who you share your wins with. You control your light. So don't let the insecure dim it. Surround yourself with people who clap when you win, not compete. Because when someone always needs to be better, they're already losing the battle within. And a wise person, they walk away and keep winning, in peace. If you're ready to stop playing small and stop letting anyone extinguish your light, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. I don't need comparison to know my worth. That's your way of affirming that you're stepping out of the meaningless game of competition and onto the journey of living as the best version of yourself, a spiritual move of modern Stoicism. Number 3. The gossip addict. Let's talk about one of the most overlooked yet deeply corrosive forces in human relationships, the gossip addict. They are the cousin of the one-up machine, cut from the same cloth of insecurity and masked intentions, but their weapon is more subtle and more toxic. This person always seems to know the latest scandal, who failed, who cheated, who's pretending to be wealthy, and they treat this as currency. Yet what they lack, tragically, is self-awareness. They dissect everyone's life, but never pause to reflect on their own. Marcus Aurelius, in Meditations, reminded us, "Don't waste what's left of your life in guessing what others are doing or thinking. It takes away from your mind's attention to your own actions." And that's the root of it. The gossip addict wastes their life in shadows, speculating about others instead of focusing on their own light. In modern life, this might look like endless phone calls filled with other people's business, or social media threads overflowing with judgment. But whether the delivery is digital or whispered over coffee, the result is the same. It poisons your perception of others, slowly distorts your own identity, and drains the clarity and peace you've worked so hard to build. The real danger lies not just in what gossip does to others, but what it does to you. It changes how you interpret people's actions, breeds mistrust, and trains your mind to look for flaws instead of beauty, for betrayal instead of loyalty. Over time, even your closest relationships can decay under the weight of suspicion, because your mind becomes trained to dissect rather than connect. And if you're wondering whether someone is a gossip addict, here's the Stoic principle worth remembering. If they gossip to you, they most certainly gossip about you. Seneca once warned, "He who indulges in empty fears earns himself real ones." And gossip is just that, an empty fear disguised as social insight. The wise person, the one with an iron mind grounded in Stoic principles, does not waste time confronting gossipers. They don't feed the fire. Instead, they change the subject. They redirect the energy. They offer no fuel to the flame. If needed, they test loyalty, quietly and without accusation. A dropped hint, a piece of fake information, and the trail it takes tells you all you need to know. And most importantly, they set boundaries, not with anger, but with clarity. I don't talk about people who aren't in the room. That line is simple, but it's powerful. It filters the energy of the room. It sets a tone. It protects your peace. Eventually, the most disciplined move you can make is to walk away. Not loudly, not dramatically, but completely. Because the person who is committed to growth does not trade in rumors. They don't erode others to elevate themselves. They build. They protect their mental space as if their future depends on it, because it absolutely does. In the pursuit of a life built on virtue and peace, there is no room for the noise of small minds. So ask yourself, do your words build bridges or burn them? Do they foster trust or plant seeds of doubt? Because the same mouth that gossips about others today might be the one that distorts your name tomorrow. And at the end of it all, as Epictetus reminded us, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. If you want peace, speak peace. If you want trust, build it. And if you want an iron mind free of needless drama and betrayal, then start by choosing your circle like your joy depends on it, because in this chaotic world, it absolutely does. Number 4, the social climber. Let me ask you something real. Have you ever had someone in your life who made you feel like a stepping stone instead of a friend? Someone who smiled in your face when they needed something, but forgot your name when someone more valuable walked into the room? If so, you've encountered what I call the social climber. And if you've ever felt used, discarded, or invisible after being helpful, this message is for you. Social climbers aren't just strategic or ambitious. They're transactional. They see people not as souls to connect with, but as rungs on a ladder to climb. And here's the Stoic secret most never talk about. Those who climb without care eventually fall alone. Because no matter how high they get, no one will be waiting at the top if they burned every bridge on the way up. Marcus Aurelius, who ruled the greatest empire of his time yet kept his soul intact, said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." Let that sink in. The wise don't play games. They walk away with dignity. They don't expose fake people. They outgrow them. And they don't beg for loyalty. They embody it. Let's take a closer look, because understanding the pattern helps you recognize it. Social climbers always begin strong. They love bomb you with praise, attention, and energy. You'll feel special at first. Then slowly their true intention reveals itself. The moment you're no longer a shortcut to their next opportunity, you become invisible. That's when you realize they were never building a relationship. They were making a transaction. And maybe you've seen it. Or maybe, hard as it is to admit, you've been it. Because this society teaches us to hustle, to chase, to network, but never to connect. So we forget the value of real presence, of asking someone, "How are you?" instead of, "What do you do?" I learned this the hard way, through a friend I'll call Jake. He seemed like the guy who had it all, charming, connected, always on. At first I admired him, but then I noticed something. He only called when he needed something. When the favors stopped, so did the friendship. It was like flipping a switch, and you know what? It hurt. But it also woke me up, because once you realize someone only values your usefulness, you stop feeling guilty for walking away. Seneca once wrote, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you." So ask yourself, who around you makes you better? Who challenges you to grow? Who shows up when there's nothing to gain? That's the person you build with, because success without sincerity is empty. And relationships without respect are prisons in disguise. The Stoics teach us to pursue excellence, not appearances, to cherish character, not clout. So if someone in your life is more interested in your status than your soul, let them go. Quietly. You don't need to make noise when you level up with wisdom. And here's something to carry with you. People may forget what you said. They may forget what you did. But they will never forget how you made them feel, especially when you didn't need anything from them. So what kind of legacy are you building? Think about it. When you look around at your life, your circle, your conversations, your connections, are they built on authenticity or advantage? Are you planting seeds of real friendship or just passing through for personal gain? And if you're honest, do you need to shift how you show up? No shame, just growth. That's what Stoicism is all about. Self-awarenesses, self-discipline, and self-respect. So let's be real. Have you ever dealt with someone like this? Or looked in the mirror and realized maybe you are acting that way? I'm not here to judge. I'm here to guide. Drop your thoughts, your reflections, your wake-up moments in the comments. Let's keep it real. Let's build something worth remembering. Number 5. The free advice/free work leech. There's always that one person. You know the type. They only reach out when they need something. No check-ins, no support, no genuine care. Just a sudden, hey, got a quick question, text that you already know isn't quick at all. This is the free advice, free work leech. The person who sees your time, energy, and expertise not as something to respect, but as something to consume, for free. They want your wisdom, your skills, your insight, but they never offer anything in return, not even basic gratitude. And if you don't set boundaries, they'll keep coming back, draining you little by little until one day you look around and realize you're their go-to solution while they're never there for you. Now, here's where Stoic philosophy, especially modern Stoicism, comes in with clarity. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The value of a man is measured by the worth of what he values." So ask yourself, what are you valuing when you let these people drain you? And what are they valuing when they take without giving? I had a guy in my circle like this. We'll call him Mark. Every few months he'd show up out of nowhere, always with that fake, casual, let's catch up, only to quickly pivot into, hey man, I've got this idea, can you take a quick look at it? I'd always say yes. I'd give detailed feedback, take time out of my own grind, offer him clarity he wasn't getting anywhere else. And what did I get? No thanks, no follow-up, no proof that he even used the advice, just silence, until the next time he needed something. So one day I flipped the script. I asked him for help with something light, something he could have done easily. His response? A lazy, bare minimum answer. Then right on cue, a week later. Hey bro, got another quick favor. That's when it hit me. I wasn't a friend. I was a free service. And when I stopped being useful, I stopped being contacted. That realization cut deep, but it was also freeing. It reminded me of a critical Stoic lesson. You cannot control others' behavior, but you can control your response. And that response, my friend, is boundaries. Modern Stoicism teaches us that self-respect and peace go hand in hand. Wise people protect their energy. They stop trying to be everyone's fixer. They set the tone. Sure, I'd love to help, but this is my rate. And you'd be shocked how fast leeches disappear when money is involved. The truth is, real friends don't vanish when you enforce your worth. They lean in, they offer support, they reciprocate. Because people who actually value you won't get offended when you protect your time. They'll respect you more. If someone gets mad because you said no, that's not a person you need close. And if they only show up when they need something, they're not your friend, they're your client, just one who doesn't want to pay. So let me ask you, Who in your life only checks in when they want something? Who drains you without ever giving back? Who disappears the moment you set a boundary? And more importantly, why are you still giving them access to your time, your energy, your peace? Because here's the brutal truth, a truth backed by both life and Stoic philosophy. People only take advantage of you if you let them. You teach people how to treat you by what you tolerate. Your time is valuable. Your skills took years to develop. And if someone doesn't respect that, you don't owe them an explanation. You owe yourself better boundaries. What can we take away from this? 3 things. First, start charging for your expertise. You'll quickly separate the respectful from the entitled. Second, set clear, unapologetic boundaries and enforce them. Third, test the relationship, ask for something back. If the answer is silence or excuses, you've got your answer. Modern Stoicism reminds us to prioritize peace over people-pleasing, clarity over comfort. Real relationships are mutual. One-sided ones? They're just slow-burn betrayals in disguise. So if you've ever been used or felt like you're always giving and never receiving, it's time to reclaim your worth. The people who truly care, they won't mind the boundary. They'll appreciate it. So, have you ever had to cut off someone who only called when they needed something? Or, be real, have you ever been that person? No shame, just self-awareness. Because growth starts with honesty. Drop your thoughts below. And remember, your peace is worth protecting. Always. And if you've made it this far, let me know by leaving a comment saying, "Know your worth." I'd love to know which of you are serious about setting boundaries, protecting your energy, and no longer letting others take advantage of your time and effort. Number 6. The drama magnet. You know that one person who always seems to have a crisis, a meltdown, or a fresh batch of chaos brewing in their life? They're not just unlucky, they're a drama magnet. And if you're honest, you can probably think of someone like that right now. Every time you talk to them, there's a new problem, a fresh enemy, or some emotional emergency that demands your attention. The worst part? It's never their fault. They are the constant victim, misunderstood by the world, and somehow always caught in conflict, no matter where they go. But here's the truth that modern Stoicism lays bare. People like this aren't just unlucky. They are addicted to the emotional high of drama, and they're not looking for solutions. They're looking for someone to pull into their storm so they don't have to feel alone in it. And if you're not careful, that someone becomes you. I had a friend like this. Let's call her Rachel. Every conversation felt like entering a soap opera. One day it was her boss, the next day her boyfriend, and the day after that her roommate who sabotaged her favorite coffee mug. At first I tried to be supportive. I listened, gave advice, even offered help. But no matter what I did, the chaos never stopped. She never made changes, never took accountability, just circled back with another dramatic episode, always needing a rescue. And slowly I began to realize I wasn't helping her. I was being used as an emotional dump. I was absorbing stress that wasn't mine, getting pulled into drama that didn't concern me, and losing peace that I had worked hard to protect. One day, after she told me a long-winded story about how someone looked at her the wrong way, I felt it in my gut. I had to walk away. Not out of anger, but out of wisdom. Because as Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That's a core Stoic lesson. We're not obligated to take on the emotional storms of others. We can be kind without being consumed. We can care without becoming caretakers of chaos. The wise recognize patterns, not just problems. And when you see that someone thrives on disorder, it's your cue to step back, not to save them, but to save yourself. Ask yourself this: how often have you ended a conversation with a drama magnet feeling drained, frustrated, or emotionally foggy? That's not an accident. That's the result of emotional vampirism. They feed on energy, not resolution. And if you allow them access, they will take everything you're willing to give, and more. So here's what you need to remember. Peace is a choice, and it often starts with who you allow in your space. A wise person does not entertain emotional chaos for the sake of loyalty, guilt, or history. They protect their time and their clarity. They choose relationships that are steady, not stormy. Real friendship isn't about constantly putting out fires. It's about building something solid together. If someone in your life always seems to have drama following them, it's time to ask, are they just unlucky, or are they addicted to chaos? And more importantly, are you willing to keep paying the emotional price? Modern Stoicism teaches us to recognize what we can control. And one of the most powerful things we control is our environment, our emotional environment. So if you want to protect your energy, grow with intention, and cultivate real inner calm, then you must be ruthless about who you let close. Stoic lessons remind us that not every storm is meant to be weathered. Some storms are meant to be avoided, and when someone constantly brings conflict, gossip, or emotional turmoil into your life, they're not a victim, they're a liability. Protect your peace, protect your progress, and walk away without guilt, because true growth doesn't come from constant emotional rescue missions. It comes from choosing clarity over chaos, every single time. So tell me, have you ever had to walk away from a drama magnet? Or be honest, have you ever been one? No judgment, just reflection. Let's talk about it. And if anyone's name comes to mind while I'm speaking, you know what you need to do. Now you just have to decide if you have the courage to do it. By the way, if you like deep, thought-provoking insights on Stoicism, self-improvement, and navigating life with wisdom, you'll love my free newsletter. Every Sunday, I share powerful lessons, controversial truths, and practical strategies to help you level up, all for free. Protect your peace, choose your circle wisely, and keep growing. 8 types of people. Wise individuals cut off without drama, according to Stoic principles. Wisdom isn't just about knowing more, it's about doing less of what drains you. Truly wise people don't waste their breath arguing, explaining themselves to those who refuse to listen, or chasing people who never intended to stay. Instead, they observe patterns, recognize red flags early, and make quiet decisions. When a relationship turns toxic, they don't create scenes or seek revenge. They simply withdraw. No drama, just silence. And that silence, it speaks volumes. In a world full of noise, knowing when to walk away is a powerful skill. This article is about identifying the subtle but harmful behaviors that toxic people carry, and why wise individuals don't fight them, they just remove them, because your time, peace, and energy are far too valuable to be wasted on people who don't respect them. Number 1. The over-promiser, under-deliverer. Let's talk about a pattern that many of us have experienced but often overlook. The over-promiser who under-delivers. You know the type. They talk big, make grand promises, paint exciting futures, and hype up plans that sound amazing on paper, but when it's time to act, they vanish. They say, "I'll help you out this weekend," or "I'm going to launch this huge project," or "We'll definitely collaborate next month." And yet nothing ever happens. And the worst part? You believe them. You make room in your life for their promises. You adjust your expectations. You give them your trust, only to be left disappointed over and over again. That's the real danger of the overpromiser, not just in their words, but in the emotional letdown they leave behind. So, let me ask you, how many times have you put your faith in someone's potential rather than their track record? How many times have you confused enthusiasm with reliability? That's where the Stoic secret comes in. The Stoics taught us not to judge people by what they say, but by what they do, because actions are the only real measure of character. Marcus Aurelius put it best when he said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one." And here's what that means for you. Talk is cheap, energy is expensive, time is priceless. A wise person watches patterns. They don't cling to potential, they learn to separate dreamers from doers, and they invest their energy only in those who follow through. The overpromiser doesn't just waste your time, they drain your trust, your excitement, and your momentum. And if you're not careful, they train you to lower your standards. You start accepting less. You stop expecting follow-through. And slowly, without realizing it, you start surrounding yourself with people who talk about growth but never grow, who preach ambition but never produce results. I've learnt this the hard way. I used to work with a guy, let's call him Alex, who was full of ideas. Every time we talked, he had a new vision, a new plan, a new pitch, and every time I'd get excited. I'd think, this time he's serious. But then I'd wait, and wait, and nothing. Eventually I realized Alex wasn't building anything. He was just addicted to the rush of planning, and I was addicted to the hope he'd finally come through. But hope is not a strategy, and potential doesn't pay the bills. That's when I leaned on Stoic wisdom and reminded myself that real growth doesn't happen in promises. It happens in progress. As Epictetus once said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." So I stopped waiting on empty promises and started building with people who delivered. And guess what? Everything changed. My circle got smaller, but my results got bigger. My peace increased. My time felt more valuable because I was no longer wasting it on people who couldn't respect it. So ask yourself, who in your life constantly talks big but delivers small? And why are they still in your circle? Are you clinging to what they say, or are you watching what they actually do? Because the truth is, a person's consistency tells you more than their charisma ever could. And when someone shows you they're unreliable, believe them. A wise person doesn't beg for proof. They pay attention to the evidence. If you're tired of the cycle of excitement followed by disappointment, maybe it's time to change the script. Set higher standards, protect your time, and remember, success isn't about who talks the most. It's about who shows up every time without needing applause. That's the Stoic way. That's how you reclaim your energy. So tell me, have you been burned by an overpromiser, or have you ever caught yourself being one? No judgment, just growth. Let's talk about it. Number 2, the one-up machine. Let's talk about a subtle but toxic energy that too many of us tolerate. The one-up machine. You know the type. No matter what you say, they have to top it. You share a win, and instead of celebrating with you, they hijack the moment and make it about themselves. You say, "I just ran my first 10K, and they say, "Oh, nice, I ran a half marathon last weekend." You say, "I finally launched my business," and they respond, "That's cool, I started 3 last year." Every conversation turns into a quiet competition, and at first it might seem harmless, even funny. But over time, it starts to eat away at your joy. You begin to second-guess sharing your wins. You hold back your excitement, and suddenly you're playing small, not because you're not proud of yourself, but because you know they'll twist your success into their spotlight. So let me ask you, how often have you dimmed your light to make someone else comfortable? How often have you stayed quiet just to avoid being one-upped? Here's the truth that modern Stoicism teaches us. Wise people protect their peace, and part of that means protecting your joy. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." And if your circle makes you feel like you need to downplay your joy just to keep the peace, that's a red flag. Not a relationship. The one-up machine doesn't need to win, they need to feel superior, but that need comes from deep insecurity. And once you see it for what it is, you stop taking it personally. You stop chasing validation from people who compete instead of celebrate. And you start valuing the kind of energy that feels like support, not comparison. I had a friend once, let's call him Brian, who always had to be the best. If I was reading a new book, he had already read it twice. If I shared a podcast I loved, he was already best friends with the host, allegedly. At first, I laughed it off, but eventually I noticed I wasn't talking about my life anymore. I was editing myself before every conversation, worried about being outshined in my own story. That's when I leaned into Stoic lessons and made a shift. As Epictetus reminds us, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. In other words, let them win the imaginary contest. You don't need to prove yourself to people who are too insecure to celebrate others. You don't need to be the loudest in the room, you need to be the most grounded. I stopped trying to match Brian's energy and started pulling away. Not with drama, just silence. I realized I'd rather have peace than pointless competition. And here's the most powerful part. When you stop feeding the one-up machine, they eventually move on, because they thrive on reaction. Take that away and they lose interest. That's how you reclaim your joy, your voice, and your space. So here's what I want you to reflect on. Who in your life makes you feel like you have to compete? Who turns your wins into their flex? And more importantly, why are you still giving them access to your life? Modern Stoicism reminds us that energy is sacred. A wise person doesn't waste it trying to impress insecure people. They invest it in becoming better, calmer, freer. Let your success speak for itself, and let the people who celebrate it stand beside you. Because life isn't a competition, it's a collaboration, and you deserve to be around people who clap when you win. So tell me, have you ever dealt with a one-up machine? Or be honest, have you ever been one? No judgment, just awareness. Drop your thoughts below, let's grow through it. If this video resonated with you, please leave a comment below with the words, "I agree," to show that you're committed to bringing these Stoic principles into your life. Number 3, the chronic gossiper. A dangerous presence, often cloaked in charm, the chronic gossiper thrives on the misfortune and details of others, using information not to build trust, but to fracture it. They are the living embodiment of distraction and disorder, forever entangled in the affairs of others while neglecting the discipline of their own life. Gossip, as Seneca once warned, has a way of slipping into the soul and staining it, making us complicit in the very vices we claim to condemn. When someone habitually speaks about others behind their backs, they expose a deeper truth, their inability to face their own shortcomings, to command the iron mind required to govern themselves. And here lies the Stoic lesson. Do not entertain what does not nourish virtue. Whoever gossips to you will gossip about you, goes the timeless adage, reminding us that those who betray others in conversation will not hesitate to betray you in action. This is not merely about avoiding idle chatter. It is about guarding the sanctity of your mind and your circle. Marcus Aurelius noted, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts, and by extension, with the company it keeps." If you continually allow those who indulge in gossip to remain in your presence, you slowly permit their disorder to stain your own clarity. A chronic gossiper is not just wasting their time, they are seeking accomplices. Your role as someone who walks the Stoic path is not to correct or confront them, but to remove yourself from their influence with quiet resolve. Just as Epictetus taught, the key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best. To cling to the drama of others is to abandon the serenity of your own progress. In modern life, this temptation is ever present, at work, online, in family gatherings. With a single comment or click, you are pulled into someone else's storm. But remember, an iron mind does not bend in the wind of idle words. Ask yourself, does this help me grow in virtue? Does this conversation serve truth, justice, or wisdom? If the answer is no, your duty is to disengage. The world is already full of chaos. Do not import it into your own consciousness. William B. Irvine, in A Guide to the Good Life, reinforces this point. The Stoics knew that to enjoy tranquility, we must avoid pointless social interactions and idle talk that distract from our purpose. Every moment you give to gossip is a moment taken from your true self. Thus, let this be your standard. Avoid those who cannot master themselves, but are swift to dissect others. Be as wary of loose tongues as you would of sharp knives. They cut deeper than appearances suggest. In every interaction, cultivate the discipline to speak with intention and to listen with discretion. Your peace is a fortress. Do not lower its gates for those who carry the seeds of discord. And if you must part ways with someone who cannot rise above petty speech, do so without malice but with unwavering purpose. As the Stoics remind us, live not to please the crowd, but to align with virtue. In doing so, you protect not only your time and energy, but the very essence of your soul. Number 4. The social climber. Let's talk about one of the most overlooked but damaging personalities that wise people learn to spot quickly. The social climber. This is the person who treats relationships like business cards at a networking event, connecting not from the heart, but from strategy. They're the ones who suddenly get friendly when you've achieved something or gained influence, but were nowhere to be found when you were grinding in the shadows. They're not interested in who you are. They're focused on what you can offer, how close you are to the spotlight, and what connections you might give them access to. At first, it can feel flattering. Their energy is magnetic. They seem genuinely impressed by your work, and they speak the language of ambition. But slowly you start to see the pattern. They don't check in unless there's something in it for them. They don't support unless there's an audience, and they disappear the moment someone more valuable enters the room. So, let me ask you this. Have you ever felt like someone was only close to you because of your position, your access, or your success? Modern Stoicism warns us about people like this. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." A social climber isn't rich in connection, they're poor in character, always chasing more without building anything meaningful. And here's the Stoic secret. Wise people don't chase connections. They build relationships rooted in respect. They can sense when someone's energy is transactional, not sincere. And when they see that a person values opportunity more than authenticity, they quietly cut the cord. No fight, no drama, just space. because they know that real friendship doesn't need an agenda. It thrives on trust, support, and shared growth. I once worked with someone like this. At every event they were shaking hands, snapping selfies, name-dropping. When I was on the rise, they were always around, offering to help, collaborating, hyping me up. But when I hit a rough patch and stepped back from the spotlight, they ghosted. Just like that. No check-in, no concern. It wasn't about me. It was about the access I provided. And that moment reminded me of a critical Stoic lesson. Don't value the things you have in life, but the people you have in your life. Wise people don't measure relationships by status. They measure them by substance. So if someone in your life treats you like a stepping stone, it's not your job to fix them. It's your job to protect your peace. The more you grow, the more these social climbers will show up. But growth isn't just about leveling up. It's about learning who deserves a seat at your table. So ask yourself, who checks in when you're low, not just when you're trending? Who values your character more than your clout? And who would stay if everything you had disappeared tomorrow? The answer to those questions will tell you everything you need to know. Because at the end of the day, a wise person invests in people who are real, not just relevant. That's the Stoic way. And that's how you build a life filled with meaning, not manipulation. So tell me, have you ever dealt with a social climber? Or have you ever caught yourself treating people as stepping stones without meaning to? No shame, just awareness. Let's talk about it. Number 5. The free advice/free work leech. Let's talk about a type of person that every wise individual learns to cut off early. The free advice, free work leech. You know exactly who I'm talking about. That person who only reaches out when they need something. They don't check in just to see how you're doing. They don't offer genuine support, and they sure as hell don't show up when you need help. Instead, their messages always start with, "Quick question," or "Hey, can I pick your brain for a second?" But you already know it's never quick, and it's always one-sided. They want your time, your knowledge, your energy, but they never think twice about what it costs you. And if you're not careful, you'll find yourself becoming their go-to problem solver, constantly giving without ever being valued. So let me ask you, how many people in your life only reach out when they need something? And more importantly, why are you still letting them? There's a powerful Stoic secret that wise people understand. Your time is your most valuable asset. Marcus Aurelius once said, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it." Translation: the hurt you feel when someone uses you isn't just from their action, it's from the fact that you keep allowing it. That realization changed everything for me. I used to have someone in my circle who only messaged me when they needed help with their projects. Never a thank you, never an offer to return the favor, just a constant stream of "Can you look this over for me?" and "You're good at this, can you help real quick?" And like a fool, I kept saying yes, hoping that eventually they'd see the value I brought. But they never did, because people who use others rarely appreciate them. One day, I tested the dynamic. I asked them for help with something simple. The reply? A half-hearted answer and radio silence. But just a few days later, they were back in my inbox asking for more. That's when I remembered another gem from Epictetus. Know first who you are, and then adorn yourself accordingly. I knew my time mattered. I knew my expertise had value. So I stopped responding, and just like that, they disappeared. No anger, no explanation. Because when people can no longer benefit from you, they show you their true colors. And that silence? That was my confirmation. A wise person doesn't beg to be appreciated. They set boundaries that force people to respect them or leave. They understand that generosity without limits turns into self-neglect. So if you've got someone in your life who always takes but never gives, it's time to ask yourself, are they here for you or just what you can provide? Modern Stoicism teaches us to guard our energy like we guard our reputation. Your wisdom, your skills, your kindness. They're earned, not owed. And if someone doesn't respect that, they don't deserve access. So, be honest. Have you been giving too much to someone who gives nothing back? Or, harder still, have you ever been that person, unintentionally taking more than you give? There's no judgment, just a chance to reset. Because once you start valuing your time, your circle gets smaller, your peace gets louder, and your life gets lighter. So tell me in the comments, what's your experience with a free work leech? Let's talk boundaries, worth, and walking the path of wisdom together. Number 6. The victim mentality. This is one of the clearest signs that someone might bring betrayal or emotional sabotage into your life, not with a dagger, but with excuses, blame, and endless complaints. When someone constantly paints themselves as the victim, never owning up to their part in what happens to them, they're not just avoiding responsibility, they're inviting others to carry their burdens for them. You've probably met someone like this. Maybe it's a colleague who blames their boss for every missed promotion, or a friend who insists life is unfair but makes no real effort to change their situation. They drain your energy with complaints, and slowly, without you realizing it, they pull you into their narrative, casting you as either a savior or a villain. But here's the truth. You can't help someone who refuses to help themselves. Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." And that's where the core of modern Stoicism lives, knowing that while we can't control every event, we are always in control of our mindset and our choices. Playing the victim may win sympathy, but it surrenders power. And in Stoic lessons, surrendering your power is the beginning of moral decay. Let me share a story from recent years that captures this perfectly. A young man I met during a workshop on resilience kept speaking about how his parents, his job, and even the city he lived in had ruined his life. He had talent, no doubt, but also a wall built of blame and bitterness. After one of the sessions, I asked him, "What's one thing you've done in the last year that made things better for yourself?" He paused for a long time, then admitted, "Nothing." That moment wasn't just awkward, it was awakening. He realized that his life wasn't stolen from him. He'd simply been giving it away, piece by piece, every time he refused to take responsibility. You see, when you allow someone with a victim mentality into your life unchecked, their story starts to infect your own narrative. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." So the real question is, are you surrounding yourself with people who uplift that power or chip away at it? The Stoic response isn't cruelty, it's clarity. You don't need to argue or try to fix them. Simply step back and reclaim your peace. In today's world, where blame is trending and responsibility is rare, your strength lies in standing firm in accountability. So ask yourself, who in your life consistently refuses to own their choices? What are they teaching you? Not with their words, but with their behavior. And more importantly, what are you tolerating that may be slowing down your own growth? Because the true enemy of progress isn't failure, it's the refusal to admit where we've failed. A strong mind, an iron mind, does not indulge in excuses. It builds itself from truth. So here's the lesson. Cut ties with victimhood. yours and others, because the road to becoming unshakable starts where blame ends. Choose peace, not control, because it is the most powerful declaration of your emotional freedom and growth. If this content makes you think, leave a comment, "I choose peace, not control," as a declaration of your emotional freedom journey. Number 7. The energy vampire. This type of person doesn't come bearing knives or plots, but their impact can be just as destructive. They drain your emotional strength, your mental clarity, and your sense of peace, all without giving anything of value in return. You know them. Maybe it's a friend who never calls unless they need to vent, or a colleague who finds fault in everything, bringing drama to every room they enter. They don't seek solutions, they seek an audience. Their presence turns calm into chaos, and over time, if you're not careful, their negativity will start to dim your own light. Marcus Aurelius, in his timeless meditations, wrote, "The tranquility that comes when you stop caring what they say, or think, or do, only what you do." That's the wisdom of Stoic principles. Your energy is sacred, and you are responsible for guarding it. In today's world, filled with constant demands and distractions, it is vital to cultivate an iron mind that knows when to walk away, not out of coldness, but out of clarity. Let me give you a modern story to anchor this lesson. A business owner I once advised had a partner who was brilliant on paper, but emotionally exhausting. This partner would spiral into complaints at every setback, question every decision, and inject fear into every opportunity. The team, once motivated, became tense and reactive. Eventually, the owner had to make a hard decision and cut ties. What followed? The business stabilized, morale returned, and momentum surged. It wasn't just the removal of a person. It was the removal of a toxic influence. As Epictetus taught, it's not things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them. An energy vampire thrives not because they are powerful, but because we give them permission to invade our inner peace. Who in your life leaves you feeling heavy, anxious, or spiritually depleted after every encounter? And why are they still allowed access to your mind and your time? A core teaching of modern Stoicism is knowing what's within your control. And protecting your peace absolutely is. You must become a guardian of your inner space. Choose to keep company with those who elevate your perspective, challenge you to grow, and add vitality to your journey. Because just as negativity spreads, so does strength. Surrounding yourself with uplifting individuals is not luxury, it is armor. And in practicing these Stoic lessons daily, you will find that your energy becomes focused, your clarity sharper, and your peace immovable. The lesson is simple but essential. Do not negotiate your well-being. Where your peace is threatened, silence speaks louder than confrontation. An iron mind doesn't just endure, it protects. Number 8. The manipulator. Let's talk about one of the most dangerous types of people a wise person must learn to spot early: the manipulator. This isn't just someone who disagrees with you or challenges your perspective. This is someone who uses subtle control, emotional pressure, and deception to bend situations to their advantage while masking their true intentions. They know how to twist words, shift blame, and plant seeds of doubt, often leaving you second-guessing your reality. They may come across as charming or helpful at first, but slowly they weave confusion into your life like a web until you feel trapped without even knowing how you got there. And here's what makes them so dangerous. They don't manipulate with honesty or strength. They manipulate with shadows, using silence, half-truths, or false empathy to push you into decisions you wouldn't make if you were thinking clearly. Ask yourself this: have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling drained, unsure, or oddly guilty, even though you did nothing wrong? That's not just coincidence. That's the fingerprint of a manipulator. Now, when we turn to Stoic principles, the answer becomes very clear. You don't argue with manipulators, you don't try to fix them, and you certainly don't stick around hoping they'll change. You simply recognize the pattern, acknowledge the danger, and remove yourself. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." That means when someone tries to deceive, control, or use you, you don't stoop to their level. You rise above, you protect your peace, and walk away without noise or explanation. It's an act of strength, not weakness, to choose silence over conflict when you're facing someone who thrives in chaos. Modern life is full of these emotional chess players, whether in the workplace, families, or social circles. And if you don't sharpen your awareness, you may find yourself being drained, doubting your worth, and moving according to someone else's selfish agenda. A wise person does not tolerate manipulation, not because they're cold or detached, but because they know the cost of keeping such energy close is too high. I once knew a woman, let's call her Diane, who mastered the art of emotional manipulation. She'd constantly frame situations in ways that made everyone feel guilty for setting boundaries with her. If someone told her no, she'd spiral into stories of being mistreated. If you gave her advice, she'd twist it to prove how you misunderstood her. For years, people tiptoed around her just to keep the peace. But peace built on walking on eggshells is not real peace. And when I finally stepped back and refused to play her game, I realized something powerful. Manipulators only win when you stay engaged. The moment you detach and stop reacting, you strip away their power. That's the iron mind in action, staying grounded in truth, clarity, and self-control. Seneca once said, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you." And that's exactly the standard you must adopt. In a world full of noise and emotional games, wise people choose authenticity over approval, clarity over confusion, and integrity over manipulation. So here's your reminder: if someone's presence constantly leaves you second-guessing, walking on eggshells, or compromising your peace, they are not for you. Your energy is too sacred to be a playground for someone else's control tactics. An iron mind does not dance with deceit. It moves with purpose, strength, and peace. So ask yourself, who in your life manipulates rather than communicates? And, more importantly, are you finally ready to stop playing their game? Because wisdom isn't just about knowing who they are. It's about having the courage to walk away. That is the Stoic secret. And that brings us to the end of today's video on 8 types of people wise individuals cut off without drama, according to Stoic principles. If there's one thing modern Stoicism teaches us, it's this: your peace is sacred, and your energy is not for everyone. Wise individuals don't chase conflict. They quietly step away from anything or anyone that compromises their clarity, focus, or growth. Whether it's the manipulator, the drama magnet, or the one-up machine, Stoic secrets remind us that real strength lies in knowing who belongs in your life and who doesn't. So ask yourself, who in your circle truly adds value, and who subtly drains your energy? It's time to reflect, set boundaries, and make space for relationships built on mutual respect, not manipulation. If you found value in this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Stoic Secrets. Hit that notification bell so you never miss a new drop on how to apply ancient wisdom to modern life. Your journey to a stronger, calmer, more grounded self continues right here, with modern stoicism guiding the way. Stay sharp, stay grounded, and protect your peace. 7. Attitudes of a person who only uses you and doesn't care about you. Modern stoicism. Life is filled with moments when we come to realize that someone we trust doesn't truly value us the way we thought. This painful awakening can leave us feeling manipulated, neglected, and emotionally drained. It's tough when you invest your time, energy, and emotions into a relationship only to discover that the other person sees you as nothing more than a tool to get what they want. But here's the thing, recognizing the signs early is crucial to protecting yourself from further harm and preserving your peace of mind. Modern Stoicism teaches us powerful principles like self-control, emotional independence, and the importance of setting boundaries. In this video, we'll explore 7 key attitudes that signal when someone is using you without caring for you. More importantly, we'll dive into the Stoic secrets that can help you navigate these situations with strength and wisdom, allowing you to stay grounded, maintain your dignity, and protect your emotional well-being. Join me on this journey at Stoic Secrets as we uncover the wisdom of Stoicism and learn how to create healthier, more balanced relationships. Number 1. Broken promises. Have you ever been in a situation where someone makes promises to you over and over, but their actions tell a completely different story? It's incredibly painful, isn't it? You hear their words, and for a moment you feel a sense of hope, a belief that they genuinely care. But when those promises are repeatedly broken, it feels like a deep betrayal. It's almost as though they've been playing with your emotions, using your trust as a tool to keep you engaged. And the worst part? The excuses. They always seem to have an endless supply of reasons why they couldn't follow through, shifting blame, making you feel like it's your fault, or worse, expecting you to overlook their repeated failures. The more you experience this, the more you start to question yourself. You wonder, why am I allowing this to happen? Why am I still here, waiting for something that might never come? The truth is, broken promises are not just a reflection of the person making them, but also a painful reminder of how easily trust can be shattered. Trust is the foundation of any meaningful relationship, and once it's broken, it can feel almost impossible to repair. It's natural to feel hurt, disappointed, and disillusioned in those moments. You might even start questioning your own worth, wondering if you're deserving of better. But here's the critical point. You can't control their actions, only your reactions. And that's where the power lies. You can't stop someone from breaking their promises, but you can decide how you handle the emotional aftermath. So, when someone fails to deliver on their word, we have a choice. You can let their actions dictate your emotional state and sink into frustration, resentment, or anger. Or you can take a deep breath, step back, and remind yourself that their broken promises are beyond your control. You don't have to let their failures define your mood or your life. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoics, wisely said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one." This simple yet profound statement serves as a powerful reminder that our response to others' actions is what truly defines us, not their actions themselves. It's a call to focus on what we can control, our mindset, our actions, and our emotional stability, rather than getting bogged down by someone else's mistakes. You have the ability to choose emotional stability over emotional turmoil. It's not about excusing the other person's behavior or pretending that what they did doesn't hurt. It's about freeing yourself from the emotional burden of waiting for something that may never come. When you stop placing your happiness in the hands of someone else's broken promises, you reclaim control over your own life. Let me ask you, how much of your peace are you willing to sacrifice for someone who doesn't even value their own word? How much longer will you hold on to the hope that they will change? The power to release that emotional weight is in your hands. Are you ready to shift your mindset, to let go of the past disappointments, and to focus on building a future where you are in control of your own happiness? It's time to choose your peace. It's time to choose you. Number 2. Disregard for your needs. When you are in a relationship with someone who consistently takes from you without acknowledging or considering your emotional or practical needs, it's a clear sign that they are more concerned with their own interests than with your well-being. They may rarely check in on you unless they need something from you, and even then, their inquiry is often surface level. Your feelings become invisible to them, and your well-being is pushed aside in favor of their own convenience. In the beginning, this behavior may not be immediately obvious. Perhaps they fail to respond when you need support, or dismiss your struggles as unimportant. But as time passes, the disregard becomes undeniable, and it becomes evident that they have little to no empathy for your situation. This is where the Stoic philosophy comes into play, reminding us that true happiness cannot and should not depend on others. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Stoicism encourages us to look inward, to take responsibility for our emotional needs, and to create boundaries that safeguard our peace of mind. Instead of waiting for others to meet your expectations or fulfill your emotional needs, a Stoic person learns to practice self-reliance and emotional independence. By shifting the focus to yourself, you begin to understand that your emotional state is under your control. You are the one responsible for how you feel, and no one else can dictate your happiness. While it's important to care for others, the key to maintaining healthy relationships is recognizing when a connection has become imbalanced or toxic. Over time, by becoming more attuned to your own emotional needs and setting clear boundaries with those who fail to reciprocate, you protect your peace and emotional integrity. In modern life, many people find themselves in relationships where the other person continuously takes advantage of their generosity, time, or energy. It's easy to become emotionally drained when we neglect to set boundaries, or when we believe that we need to keep giving in order to maintain a relationship. However, the Stoic approach teaches us that we must first be whole ourselves before we can share that with others. If you constantly give without receiving, you will inevitably become exhausted and resentful. The Stoic secret to protecting yourself in these situations is learning the art of emotional independence. It's about being able to stand firm, not out of bitterness, but out of a desire to preserve your own mental and emotional well-being. By practicing Stoic principles, you can create a life that is grounded in your values and needs. You don't have to allow people who disregard you to dictate your emotional state. Instead, you can cultivate a mindset that puts your well-being at the forefront. This doesn't mean becoming cold or unfeeling. It means knowing when to step back, reevaluate your relationships, and recognize when it's time to let go of those who only take without offering anything in return. By doing so, you not only protect yourself, but also create space for healthier, more balanced relationships. Remember, it is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Another timeless reminder from Epictetus. Number 3. Disrespectful comments. In modern life, one of the most painful yet common experiences is dealing with people who only seem to use you for their benefit without genuinely caring about your well-being. You may find yourself constantly questioning whether they value you for who you truly are, or if they are simply taking advantage of your kindness and generosity. One clear sign of this behavior is when someone consistently makes disrespectful comments. These remarks often come disguised as jokes or harmless criticisms, but deep down they are designed to mock your achievements, belittle your ideas, or undermine your self-worth. The goal of these comments is not just to hurt you in the moment, but to chip away at your confidence over time, leaving you questioning your value. You may start doubting your decisions or feeling smaller, as though your presence doesn't matter. In such situations, it's crucial to understand the essence of what's happening. This behavior is often a form of control, stemming from a person's own insecurities. When someone uses insults or disparaging comments, it's not about you. It's a reflection of their internal struggles and lack of self-esteem. A person who respects and values you would never need to make you feel inferior to boost their own ego. Instead, they would encourage your growth and celebrate your achievements. The Stoic wisdom of Marcus Aurelius reminds us that the opinion of 10,000 men is of no value if none of them know anything about me. This powerful thought emphasizes that we must not be defined by the judgments of others. The only opinion that truly matters is the one we have of ourselves, grounded in our own actions, character, and integrity. When faced with someone's disrespect, a Stoic response is not to react impulsively or emotionally. It's easy to feel anger or frustration when someone attacks your worth, but those feelings will only make you more vulnerable to manipulation. In the words of Epictetus, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. The modern Stoic understands that they cannot control the actions of others, but they can control their own reactions. By refusing to internalize the disrespect, you maintain your peace of mind and emotional strength. You begin to realize that their words don't define you. They only reflect their own limitations. This is a critical point in modern Stoicism, not allowing external negativity to disturb your internal calm. It's a practice of focusing on what is within your control, your thoughts, actions, and responses, rather than allowing someone else's unkind words to shape your perception of yourself. When you can respond with composure, with an unwavering understanding of your own worth, you demonstrate the kind of emotional resilience that comes from applying Stoic principles. In practical terms, when someone makes disrespectful comments, don't allow them to upset you. Instead, take a moment to reflect on your own strength and value. Recognize that their behavior is a reflection of their struggles, not your flaws. Choose to stand firm in your own self-respect and allow their words to pass over you like water off a duck's back. By doing this, you protect your inner peace and remind yourself that your worth is not determined by the opinions of others. Remember, as Seneca wisely said, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. By not allowing someone's negative words to enter your mind, you free yourself from unnecessary suffering. This Stoic approach isn't about ignoring problems or pretending that hurtful words don't affect you. It's about acknowledging the negativity without letting it define your sense of self. By practicing this mindset, you can protect your mental and emotional well-being and avoid being manipulated by those who seek to use you. If you've ever dealt with disrespectful comments or felt belittled by someone who doesn't genuinely care about you, I encourage you to comment, "I am enough," below. Your insights and experiences are valuable and help build a community focused on self-respect, personal growth, and emotional resilience. Share how you've handled disrespect in your own life, and let's continue to grow stronger together through the wisdom of Stoic principles. Number 4. Absent in tough times. Imagine you're facing one of the toughest moments in your life. The weight of everything is crushing down on you, and you feel like you need someone to lean on. You look around, hoping to see familiar faces, to feel that comfort of knowing you're not alone. But instead you realize that those who were once by your side when everything was easy, when life felt smooth, are nowhere to be found. They've vanished. You can't reach them. The harsh truth hits. They were never really there for you in the way you thought they were. They were only around when things were going well, when it was easy for them to support you. But now that the hard times have come, they've disappeared. This is a tough pill to swallow, but it's a reality that many of us face. We often feel betrayed, like we've been left hanging, with no one to share the load. It stings, doesn't it? But let me tell you this, their absence speaks volumes about the lack of genuine care they have for you. They were never really invested in you for who you truly are. They were there for convenience, not for the real, messy moments of your life. In times like these, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking you need others to feel supported, validated, or understood. But here's the Stoic secret. True strength doesn't come from relying on others. It comes from within you. Stoicism teaches us that when we face adversity, it's not a time to look outward for comfort or reassurance. It's a time to look inward, to find the resilience and fortitude that we already possess. Think about it. What if this absence, this sense of loneliness, is actually an opportunity for you to grow stronger? What if this moment is a chance for you to tap into your own untapped strength, to rise above the pain and discover your true potential? You see, a Stoic doesn't let the absence of others define their worth. They understand that external validation is fleeting and that real growth comes from mastering themselves. When you are left standing alone, you're not alone in the way you might think. You have everything you need to face the challenge. Yes, you may feel isolated, but in those moments of solitude, you discover your inner power. You learn that you don't need to rely on anyone else's approval or presence to feel complete. You are enough on your own. And the more you embrace this mindset, the more resilient you become. So the next time you find yourself in a tough spot and those you thought would be there for you aren't, don't let it discourage you. Instead, use it as an opportunity to strengthen your own character. Don't feel abandoned. Feel empowered. This is your chance to practice the Stoic art of self-reliance, to show yourself that you can overcome adversity on your own. Remember those times in the past when you faced challenges and came out stronger. Each of those moments shaped who you are today. Now take this moment and use it to continue your journey of growth. When you stop depending on others and start trusting in your own ability to handle life's struggles, you'll realize that you never really needed anyone else to validate your worth. You've always had the strength to rise above. Number 5. Guilt manipulation. Have you ever been in a situation where someone tries to make you feel guilty, even though you know deep down that their request is completely unreasonable or selfish? It's an incredibly manipulative tactic, isn't it? Those who seek to control you often use your emotions to their advantage, hoping you'll cave to their demands simply because they know how to push your emotional buttons. They might say things like, "If you really cared about me, you would do this," or "I can't believe you're letting me down." These words are carefully crafted to make you feel like the weight of their feelings is your responsibility. It can make you question yourself, and in the heat of the moment, it's difficult not to feel guilty. But here's the truth you need to remember. No one can make you feel guilty unless you allow them to. You are in control of your emotions, And ultimately, you have the power to decide how you respond to situations like this. Modern Stoicism teaches us that we cannot control the actions of others, but we always have the power to control our reactions. When someone attempts to manipulate you through guilt, the Stoic approach is to pause and reflect before taking action. Instead of letting your emotions lead you, take a step back and ask yourself, does this request align with my values? Is this decision right for me, or am I making it simply to avoid discomfort or guilt? By grounding yourself in reason rather than giving in to emotional coercion, you protect both your integrity and your peace of mind. You don't have to let someone else's guilt dictate your choices. The beauty of Stoicism lies in this freedom. By choosing to act based on your principles, not on fear, guilt, or the need for approval, you maintain your emotional stability and clarity. Guilt manipulation isn't about you, it's about the other person trying to control you. They are attempting to influence you through fear or a false sense of obligation, rather than through rational persuasion. And the moment you recognize this, you regain control. You can choose not to engage in their emotional trap, and instead make decisions that reflect your true values and beliefs. So, I want you to think for a moment, how many times have you let someone else's guilt influence your actions? How often have you agreed to do something you didn't want to do just to avoid feeling bad or disappointing them? It's easy to get caught in this cycle, but it doesn't have to be your reality. The next time you face guilt manipulation, pause, breathe, take a moment to reflect. Ask yourself if their request is truly reasonable and in line with your values. Don't let their emotions control your decisions. You have the power to protect your peace and your integrity by embracing modern Stoicism. Choose to act based on your principles and not out of fear or a false sense of obligation. In doing so, you'll find yourself standing stronger in your decisions, with a clear mind and a peaceful heart. You have the power to shape your emotional response. Don't let anyone take that power from you. Number 6. Early around when they need something. When someone only reaches out to you when they need something, it's a sign that they may be using you for their personal gain. These individuals appear when it's convenient for them, asking for favors, seeking your attention or expecting your help, but once their needs are met, they disappear without a trace. This kind of relationship is nothing more than transactional. There's no genuine care or mutual respect. I'm sure you've experienced this at some point in your life. When someone is only around when they want something, and when you need them, they're nowhere to be found. Stoicism teaches us the importance of setting boundaries in our relationships and protecting our energy from being drained by people who only value us for what we can give. As Marcus Aurelius wisely stated, if someone is able to show you that your thoughts are wrong, be humble enough to admit it and change your mind. But the Stoic secret here is recognizing that not all relationships are worth keeping if they lack mutual respect and true care. When you engage in one-sided relationships, you are essentially placing your emotional and physical energy in a place that doesn't give you anything back. You're being taken for granted. A Stoic would recognize this pattern early on and choose to distance themselves from such connections. Instead of blindly giving to others without receiving, a Stoic knows that a healthy relationship is a two-way street, built on trust, respect, and support. This is why a Stoic would not feel obligated to give when they are not receiving anything in return. They understand that true friendships and partnerships are grounded in equality, where both parties can give and receive freely without fear of being used or manipulated. Now, this doesn't mean we should stop helping others. Quite the opposite. Stoicism encourages us to be kind, compassionate, and supportive. But the Stoic secret is that we must be mindful of where we invest our time and energy. It's important to recognize when you're being treated as a means to an end and when your value is being overlooked in favor of selfish interests. If you continue to give without receiving respect or care in return, you risk losing your sense of self-worth and becoming emotionally depleted. A Stoic would choose to protect their energy and prioritize relationships that contribute positively to their growth and well-being. In today's world, it's easy to fall into the trap of one-sided relationships, especially when we're conditioned to constantly help others, sometimes to the detriment of our own happiness. It's important to remember that we are not obligated to be a stepping stone for someone else's success or comfort. As you reflect on the relationships in your life, take a moment to ask yourself, are these relationships mutually enriching, or are you simply giving without receiving anything in return? The Stoic approach to this is to make sure your relationships are balanced, where both parties feel valued and supported. Remember, your energy is precious. If you continually give it away without reciprocation, you may find yourself emotionally drained and unfulfilled. Instead, direct your time and energy towards those relationships that bring balance, respect, and mutual growth. A Stoic understands that real fulfillment comes from authentic connections, where both people can support and uplift each other. Number 7. Lack of empathy. A clear sign someone is using you without caring about your well-being is their consistent lack of empathy. Empathy, the ability to understand and share others' feelings, is essential in any healthy relationship. When you're struggling emotionally, physically, or mentally, and the person you turn to remains indifferent, it reveals their true feelings toward you. Instead of offering support or just a listening ear, they offer an emotional void, draining your energy. This behavior leaves you feeling invisible, unheard, and causes you to question your value in the relationship. When you find yourself constantly giving and not receiving the empathy you need, it's clear that the person may not care about you, but is only using you to fulfill their own needs. This one-sided, draining dynamic ultimately harms your emotional well-being. Modern Stoicism offers valuable guidance in situations like this, teaching us not to rely on others for emotional stability or validation. Stoicism encourages us to find peace from within, not depending on external sources. While empathy from others is important, it shouldn't be the foundation of our mental strength. A Stoic's strength lies in their ability to stay composed, even when others fail to show empathy. A Stoic understands that their peace comes from controlling their own thoughts, reactions, and emotions, not from others' approval. It's essential to accept that not everyone will meet your emotional needs. While empathy is important, expecting it from everyone, especially those who are self-serving, is unrealistic. When you encounter people who lack empathy, remember that it reflects their inability to connect, not your worth. A Stoic doesn't let these moments disrupt their emotional balance. Instead, they focus on developing resilience, navigating life's challenges without depending on constant validation from others. True peace comes from within. Stoicism doesn't promote abandoning relationships that require effort, but it teaches us to recognize when a relationship is emotionally draining. Sometimes, stepping back from connections that no longer support your growth is the healthiest choice. Stoicism encourages cultivating relationships with those who genuinely care, show empathy, and contribute positively to your well-being. For those who lack empathy, Stoic wisdom teaches us to let go, not with bitterness, but with peace. As Epictetus said, Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. Similarly, emotional wealth is found in nurturing relationships that nourish us, not in clinging to those that deplete us. By focusing on our growth, we naturally attract relationships that align with our values. In a world where many connections are fleeting, modern Stoicism teaches us to prioritize our emotional health over external approval. It encourages us to trust ourselves, find inner peace, and be discerning in the relationships we invest in. Let go of those who use you without care and surround yourself with people who reflect your values and support your growth. You deserve relationships that uplift and add value to your life. Modern Stoicism teaches us that true peace comes from emotional resilience, inner strength, and meaningful, supportive relationships that help us grow into the best versions of ourselves. To join our community, we want to hear from you. Comment "I choose emotional strength" below if you believe in the power of maintaining your peace and not relying on others for your emotional stability. Your participation helps us foster a supportive and respectful community where we can grow together. Let's create a space where we recognize the value of empathy and emotional resilience, learning from each other's experiences and building stronger, more meaningful relationships. From the signs we've discussed, you can start recognizing people who only come around when they need something and don't truly care about you. However, recognizing these behaviors is just the first step. Protecting yourself from such individuals requires a deeper understanding of how to avoid them. Next, let's explore how to protect yourself from these types of relationships in Part B. How to protect yourself from people who only use you. While Part A helps you identify the signs of people who only use you, Part B will provide you with effective strategies to protect yourself from these toxic relationships. Let's dive into how to safeguard yourself from manipulation and ensure you don't get caught in harmful situations. Stick with us through this section to learn how to establish strong boundaries. Number 1. Recognize the signs early. Imagine you're in a relationship, whether personal or professional, where everything seems to be fine on the surface, but deep down, something feels off. You start noticing patterns that make you question the dynamics. The person you're dealing with seems to only reach out when they need something from you. It could be help with a task, emotional support, or a favor. But when you need a little help, when you need someone to listen, or even just a bit of encouragement, they're nowhere to be found. At first you may brush it off, thinking it's just a coincidence, but soon you begin to wonder, why is it always so one-sided? Why does it feel like they never care about your well-being? The truth is, these are the signs of someone who may be using you, and the first step to protecting yourself is recognizing these patterns early on. Think about it. Have you ever felt drained after spending time with someone who only seems to show up when it's convenient for them? Or have you caught yourself giving more than you're receiving, only to be left feeling unnoticed, unappreciated, or worse, exploited? This situation can lead to a growing sense of frustration, as you're always the one doing the giving. This is where Stoic secrets come into play. Instead of reacting emotionally, you learn to step back and observe these behaviors. You don't let your emotions cloud your judgment. You make rational observations about the nature of the relationship. By practicing Stoicism, you can gain clarity about the people in your life. It's like stepping back and watching a movie about your own life. You start to notice who is genuinely contributing to your well-being and who is simply taking from you. But how do you spot these behaviors early? It all starts with observing how people behave when they don't need anything from you. Do they still make the effort to be part of your life? Do they show any real concern for you, or is their presence always tied to what they can get from you? When someone only reaches out when they need something, whether it's emotional support, financial help, or just to ask for a favor, it's time to stop and reflect. Their behavior may be telling you that they're not truly invested in your well-being. You deserve to have people in your life who are there for you, not just when it's easy, but also when it's challenging. True friends and partners show up not only when it's convenient, but especially when it counts the most. Have you ever felt like you're always the one giving, always the one making sacrifices, yet never receiving the same in return? This kind of relationship is emotionally draining, and it's often a sign that you're being used. Recognizing these signs early on can save you from much deeper emotional pain down the road. Stoicism is not about shutting people out or withdrawing entirely. It's about understanding when to engage and when to protect yourself. It's about knowing how to set boundaries in a healthy, constructive way. By following Stoic principles, you approach relationships with a clearer perspective, one grounded in rationality, not emotional impulse. When you identify these toxic patterns, you don't have to react with anger or frustration. Instead, you can calmly disengage, preserving your emotional health and making space for healthier, more supportive relationships. It's not about surrounding yourself with a large number of people. What truly matters is the quality of your relationships. Surround yourself with people who bring positivity, who support you when you need it most, and who show that they value and care about you for who you truly are, not just when it's easy or convenient. When you recognize these signs early, you can protect yourself from being manipulated and create the emotional space needed to cultivate relationships that are meaningful and fulfilling. It's about giving yourself the freedom to thrive by choosing the people who genuinely lift you up. Number 2, set strong boundaries. Have you ever found yourself constantly giving, constantly sacrificing for someone who never seems to reciprocate, who only takes without showing any genuine care or appreciation? It's a painful experience, right? And it can leave you feeling drained, disrespected, and, most of all, used. One of the most powerful tools you can arm yourself with is the ability to set strong boundaries. You might think that boundaries are about being selfish or distant, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Setting boundaries is not about pushing people away. It's about maintaining your self-respect and protecting your well-being. Think about it. How often have you allowed others to overstep your personal limits just to avoid confrontation or to keep the peace? But here's the thing. By not setting boundaries, you're letting others walk all over you, taking your time, your energy, and your emotions without any real regard for you. This is where modern Stoicism comes in, teaching us to value our emotional health and recognize when we're being taken advantage of. When we establish clear boundaries, we communicate a message to others. I am worthy of respect, and I will not tolerate being used. It's a declaration of self-worth that's essential for your mental and emotional stability. Now, I know setting boundaries can feel uncomfortable, especially if you're someone who's always put others' needs ahead of your own. Maybe you've spent years being the go-to person, always there for everyone else, even at the expense of your own happiness. But let me ask you, how much longer are you willing to sacrifice your peace for people who don't even have your best interests at heart? Setting boundaries may be tough at first, but it's the only way to protect yourself from being drained by those who have no genuine care for you. It's a challenge to step up and say, no, I will not give any more of myself without reciprocity. But that's exactly what you need to do in order to preserve your emotional strength and inner peace. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, said, Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. In the context of setting boundaries, this quote is a powerful reminder that it's not enough to know what's right. You must actually embody those principles. Boundaries are an essential part of being true to yourself. They are a way of living by your values, rather than constantly being reactive to others' demands. It's about showing up for yourself, not just others. By setting boundaries, you teach people how to treat you. You ensure that your time, your energy, and your emotional well-being are respected, and that no one can drain you without your permission. So, the next time you feel that pull to say yes, when you really want to say no, pause for a moment. Reflect. Ask yourself, does this decision align with my well-being? Is this truly what I want, or am I just trying to avoid discomfort? Remember, setting boundaries isn't selfish. It's a form of self-care. It's about preserving your energy and maintaining your integrity. I want to leave you with this. How much of yourself are you willing to give to others before you start taking care of your own needs? Have you set boundaries in your life, or do you find yourself constantly giving to the point of exhaustion? Setting boundaries is not just an act of protection. It's an act of self-respect. And when you practice modern stoicism, you learn that the greatest gift you can give yourself is the ability to say no when it's necessary. Embrace this mindset, take control of your emotional well-being, and protect your peace. You have the power to set boundaries and to ensure that your time, energy, and love are not taken for granted. Are you ready to step into your own power? To set those boundaries and truly protect your peace? The choice is yours. Number 3. Avoid seeking validation. One of the easiest ways to fall prey to manipulation is by seeking validation from those who don't truly care about you. It's an all too common scenario. You rely on others to feel good about yourself, to feel accepted and valued. In doing so, you unknowingly place your self-worth in the hands of people who might not have your best interests at heart. This opens the door to being used, controlled, and taken advantage of. The Stoic philosophy teaches us that true validation does not come from others, but from within ourselves. When you stop depending on external validation, you regain control over your life, making decisions that align with your own values and principles. Imagine how liberating it would feel to no longer seek approval from people who only care about what you can give them. Instead of waiting for someone else to validate your worth, you begin to embrace your own judgment and trust in your inner strength. The Stoic secret here is learning to appreciate your own value without needing others to mirror it back to you. This shift in mindset isn't just about resisting the urge to seek validation. It's about recognizing that your value is inherent and doesn't require external confirmation. In doing so, you allow yourself the freedom to live authentically, making choices based on what truly matters to you, rather than on the fleeting desire to please others. In today's world, we're constantly bombarded by messages that encourage us to seek validation from others through likes, comments, or even the approval of family and friends. Social media only amplifies this, creating a cycle of needing external affirmation to feel worthy. But the Stoic approach is about breaking free from that cycle. By focusing inward and learning to validate yourself, you take control of your emotional energy and protect your peace. When you stop seeking approval from those who offer no genuine care, you stop giving them the power to affect your emotional state. This doesn't mean you become indifferent or cold towards others. It simply means you stop allowing external forces to determine your self-worth. You begin to trust your own judgment and rely on your inner values as your guide. The key here is to empower yourself. By trusting in your own worth, you free yourself from the need for validation, and you stop letting others manipulate your emotions for their own gain. The Stoic secret is that self-worth is a reflection of your own beliefs and actions, not how others perceive you. When you embrace this, you not only protect your emotional energy, but you also preserve your peace in the face of negativity or manipulation. Similarly, true emotional wealth comes not from seeking approval from others, but in needing less validation from the outside world. By learning to validate yourself, you are no longer dependent on anyone else's approval. And this is where true freedom lies. Number 4. Build inner strength. One of the most effective ways to protect yourself from people who use you is to build inner strength. This isn't just about physical power, but emotional resilience, which allows you to withstand manipulation and avoid being controlled. When you develop inner strength, you become less vulnerable to being taken advantage of, because your emotional stability no longer relies on others' actions. Stoicism teaches us that true strength comes from within. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Challenges, emotional turmoil, and difficult situations can become opportunities for growth if approached with the right mindset. Building inner strength requires self-reflection, mindfulness, and emotional discipline. It's about understanding that how you respond to situations is more important than the situations themselves. This creates a mental foundation that keeps you grounded, no matter the chaos or negativity around you. In today's fast-paced world where manipulation and control are often used by others to take advantage of emotional vulnerabilities, developing emotional resilience is crucial. The core of Stoic philosophy is that we cannot control others' actions, but we can control our response. By mastering our reactions, we build inner strength and prevent others from disturbing our peace of mind. When you focus on strengthening your emotional resilience, you become better at recognizing when someone is trying to manipulate you. Instead of reacting with anger or frustration, you respond calmly and wisely, which reduces the likelihood of being manipulated. Inner strength also helps you navigate difficult relationships. It gives you the clarity to identify toxic people and the wisdom to walk away when necessary. A Stoic would understand that maintaining a relationship that drains you emotionally is not worth sacrificing your peace. By building inner strength, you prioritize your emotional health and protect your well-being. Emotional resilience allows you to detach from draining or manipulative people and focus on relationships that uplift you. Building inner strength involves consistent self-reflection and mindfulness. Simple habits like journaling, meditation, or taking time each day to assess your feelings can help you become more aware of your emotions and thoughts. This awareness enables you to choose how to react in challenging situations. Instead of reacting impulsively to manipulative behavior, you can pause, reflect, and respond with calm and control. In a world full of distractions, this inner strength is an invaluable tool for managing life's complexities. As you develop emotional resilience, you create a solid foundation that won't be easily shaken by external forces. It's not about avoiding challenges or negative experiences, but about developing the mindset and tools to face them without losing your peace. The more you strengthen your inner foundation, the less likely you are to be swayed by people who seek to use you. Building inner strength is a lifelong journey, but it pays immense dividends. When you invest in yourself and focus on strengthening your mind and spirit, you create a life that remains unshaken by external pressures. Stoicism encourages this continuous self-growth, teaching you to find peace within yourself and protect that peace from being stolen by others. The more emotionally resilient you become, the more you can protect your energy, prioritize your well-being, and navigate life with wisdom. You've just made a powerful step toward mastering yourself. Building inner strength is essential to navigating life's challenges and maintaining your emotional peace. Share how you're applying these Stoic principles by leaving a comment with a short slogan that resonates with your journey. For example, "Inner strength leads the way. Keep going. Your transformation is happening." Number 5. Choose quality relationships. Imagine this. You're surrounded by people, yet you feel alone. You give and give, but the returns are never the same. It's like you're investing all your energy into relationships that leave you empty. Have you ever been there? You realize that some people only show up when it benefits them, and once they've taken what they want, they disappear. These types of relationships can be draining, leaving you questioning whether you're being used. But here's the truth. You have the power to change this. The secret lies in choosing quality relationships, those that are built on trust, respect, and mutual growth. Think about it. How much better would your life be if you were surrounded by people who genuinely care about you, people who uplift you, challenge you to be better, and support your personal growth? This is where the Stoic secrets come into play. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control, and that includes the relationships we invest in. When we surround ourselves with people who respect us and value our growth, we create a positive cycle of mutual support. These relationships encourage us to become the best versions of ourselves and to offer the same in return. On the other hand, when you focus on those who only take from you, you're setting yourself up for disappointment and emotional exhaustion. Take a moment and ask yourself, are the relationships in your life nurturing or draining? Do they bring out the best in you, or do they leave you feeling depleted? Quality relationships are built on a foundation of mutual respect and empathy. Both parties give and take equally, without the imbalance of one person constantly receiving and the other always giving. The Stoic way of thinking encourages us to choose relationships that make us stronger, that support our personal journey of growth and understanding. It's not always easy, but it's worth it. When you prioritize healthy connections, you naturally distance yourself from those who would exploit you for their own gain. You stop wasting your time and energy on people who don't deserve it. And the most powerful part of this, you create space for more meaningful connections. It's like clearing the clutter from your life. Suddenly, there's room for the things that truly matter. Think about it. When was the last time you felt truly supported, challenged, and loved in a relationship? Now, imagine filling your life with more of those kinds of connections. That's the power of choosing quality relationships. So I challenge you today, take stock of the people you spend your time with. Are they the ones who build you up or the ones who drain you? Choosing quality relationships means letting go of the toxic ones that no longer serve your growth and well-being. Remember, life is too short to spend it with people who don't care about your journey. By applying Stoic principles to the way you approach relationships, you can create a life full of connections that add value to your life, not take from it. Number 6, know when to walk away. In our journey through life, we encounter people who may not have our best interests at heart. There are those who use us without care or consideration, and recognizing these relationships is a vital skill. One of the most essential lessons I've learned through modern Stoicism is knowing when to walk away from toxic or one-sided connections. But how do we know when it's time to make that difficult decision? Sometimes we hold on because we want to believe the best in people, or we hope that things will improve. But if you're constantly feeling drained, ignored, or undervalued, It's a sign that you're not dealing with someone who values you. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." And this quote speaks volumes about the importance of maintaining our integrity. You don't need to prove anything to anyone, especially not to those who take advantage of your kindness. I've been there, feeling stuck in a relationship, wondering if I should just keep trying. But here's the thing, Stoicism teaches us to recognize when a relationship is no longer serving us. It's about understanding that our time and energy are valuable resources, and investing them in people who don't reciprocate isn't wise or beneficial. Walking away, in this case, isn't a sign of weakness. No, it's a sign of strength and self-respect. It shows that you have the courage to let go of what's hurting you and make room for healthier, more fulfilling connections. It might feel hard at first, and you may even question your decision. But trust me, walking away is one of the most empowering things you can do for yourself. As Stoics, we understand that we cannot control others, but we can control how we respond. If someone is using you and doesn't care about your well-being, why should you continue to invest in them? It's like pouring water into a cup with a hole in the bottom. You'll only end up empty. Take a moment and reflect. What kind of relationships do you want to nurture? How do you want to feel when you're with others? If someone is draining your energy, it's time to let them go. Your emotional health is in your hands, and learning when to walk away is an act of self-love and wisdom. So I ask you, are you ready to take control and start prioritizing yourself over toxic connections? Number 7, control your reactions. In life, we encounter people who seek to use us for their own benefit, without genuinely caring about us. The Stoic mindset provides us with an invaluable tool in such situations, the ability to control our reactions. The truth is, we cannot control the actions of others, but we can always control how we respond. This is one of the Stoic secrets that protect our peace and dignity. When someone manipulates or exploits you, it's easy to react with anger, frustration, or resentment. These emotions arise naturally, but responding impulsively only gives away your power and fuels their manipulation. As the philosopher Epictetus once said, "We are not disturbed by what happens to us, but by our thoughts about what happens." In modern life, you may face these situations at work, in relationships, or even in family dynamics. Perhaps someone expects you to always give more than you receive, or they take advantage of your kindness without showing any concern for your well-being. In these moments, it is crucial to remain calm and composed. Reacting emotionally only escalates the situation and makes you feel worse. It's like playing a game where the rules are set by someone else, and by reacting emotionally, you're letting them control the game. Instead, you can choose to respond rationally and with intention, not from a place of hurt or anger. Think of a time when you allowed your emotions to dictate your actions. Maybe you lashed out in frustration, only to regret it later. By stepping back and choosing a stoic response, you would have maintained your inner peace and avoided the regret that often follows an emotional outburst. When you stop reacting impulsively, you take back control of your emotions and your life. Stoic principles teach us that our tranquility depends on our ability to manage our inner world, regardless of external chaos. This is the secret to protecting your peace and dignity in a world that often tries to shake it. When you respond from a place of understanding, you regain power over your own emotions. By practicing emotional restraint, you no longer allow others to control your state of mind. In these situations, think about how you want to feel, not how you are expected to feel. This shift in perspective is a key aspect of Stoicism and personal growth. It allows you to remain grounded, making decisions based on reason and clarity, rather than being ruled by fleeting emotion. To further enhance your practice of Stoic principles, remind yourself daily that your emotions are yours to control. By embracing this approach, you not only protect yourself from being used by others, but you also cultivate a deep sense of inner strength and emotional resilience. This isn't about suppressing your feelings or becoming indifferent. It's about finding balance and choosing how you engage with the world around you. As Marcus Aurelius wisely put it, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Controlling your reactions is one of the most effective Stoic secrets to reclaiming your power and emotional stability. In a world full of challenges and emotional manipulations, this practice allows you to maintain control over your inner peace. Every time you choose not to react emotionally, you reinforce your ability to stay true to yourself, regardless of what others do. Remember, you always have the choice to control your responses, and by doing so, you protect your emotional well-being and regain control over your life. Number 8. Protect your emotional energy. Your emotional energy is one of your most valuable resources, and learning to protect it is essential in today's fast-paced world. We often find ourselves in situations where people drain us without offering anything in return. In these moments, it's crucial to remember the wisdom of modern Stoicism. Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. As Epictetus wisely said, this applies to your emotional wealth as well. By conserving your energy and directing it only to those who truly support and value you, you prevent yourself from being consumed by those who take and take without giving back. Modern Stoicism teaches us the importance of mindfulness in relationships, urging us to invest our emotional resources carefully. When we are surrounded by individuals who are selfish or manipulative, it becomes easy to lose sight of our own needs. They subtly sap our emotional reserves, and before we know it, we're left feeling empty and emotionally drained. By recognizing these toxic dynamics, you can start to make better choices about who to let into your life. The key here is setting boundaries. In the same way that a fortress protects its inhabitants from external threats, setting emotional boundaries shields you from people who only seek to use you. These boundaries are not walls to isolate yourself, but rather protective measures that ensure you engage with others who genuinely enrich your life. By being clear about your limits, you create a healthier environment where you can focus on what matters most: your growth, well-being, and the relationships that uplift you. As you begin to notice when someone is taking more than they give, take a step back. The act of distancing yourself from these draining individuals is not an act of hostility, but rather one of self-preservation. If you allow toxic people to infiltrate your thoughts and emotions, their negativity will cloud your ability to think clearly and act with purpose. Protecting your emotional energy enables you to maintain your peace and stay focused on what truly matters in your life. In modern life, this approach is more important than ever. With the rise of social media and constant connectivity, it has become increasingly difficult to escape the emotional noise that surrounds us. People often use platforms to drain others of their time, attention, and energy, leaving you feeling exhausted and unfulfilled. To combat this, you must make a conscious effort to curate your interactions. Limit your exposure to those who are consistently negative or self-serving. Instead, cultivate relationships with those who add value to your life, who share your passions, and who genuinely care for your well-being. In conclusion, protecting your emotional energy isn't just about avoiding negative people. It's about making intentional choices in how you invest your time and energy. When you learn to recognize who and what deserves your emotional investment, you'll find that you can lead a more fulfilling, focused, and peaceful life. Through the lens of modern Stoicism, we are reminded that our energy is finite, and how we choose to spend it can shape the course of our lives. So, safeguard it wisely and prioritize the relationships that contribute to your growth and happiness. If you've made it this far in the video, I encourage you to comment "Emotional Fortress" below. This is a great way to show you're embracing the deeper wisdom of modern Stoicism. Take a moment to reflect and let me know your thoughts. I truly appreciate you being a part of this journey, and I hope this insight helps you continue to protect your emotional energy as you move forward on your Stoic path. Thank you for your engagement, and I look forward to hearing how this message resonates with you. As we conclude today's video on the 7 attitudes of a person who only uses you and doesn't care about you, remember that recognizing these behaviors is essential for protecting your emotional well-being. Modern Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control: our reactions, boundaries, and emotional energy. By embracing Stoic principles, you can navigate toxic relationships with wisdom and maintain self-respect and peace of mind. You are in control of your emotions, and by setting strong boundaries, you can foster relationships built on mutual respect and understanding. Invest your time and energy in relationships that contribute to your growth and happiness. I'd love to hear how you've used Stoic principles to protect your peace and strengthen your relationships. Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Stoic Secrets for more tips on living a life of wisdom and emotional strength. Keep applying these Stoic secrets to your life, and remember, you are the master of your own happiness. Must watch: 6 types of people you should never invite to your home. Modern Stoicism. Has this ever happened to you? You invite someone into your home, everything seems fine, but once they leave, you feel an odd heaviness in the air, as though your energy has been drained. Is it just a coincidence, or could there be something deeper at play? In this video, I'm going to reveal 6 types of people you should never invite into your home, and how their presence might unknowingly be stealing your peace. I'll share a personal story that will completely change the way you view your guests. By the end, I'll share a powerful Stoic secret based on modern Stoicism that will help you safeguard your home and your well-being. Stick around until the end. What I'm about to share could be the key to maintaining true harmony in your life. Don't forget to comment below: have you ever felt that someone left behind negative energy in your home? Your experience might help others find clarity. Welcome to Stoic Secrets. Number 1. People who don't respect personal boundaries. People who disregard personal boundaries can often be some of the most disruptive individuals you can invite into your home. Have you ever had someone show up uninvited, take liberties with your personal space, or use your belongings without asking? It's a feeling that goes beyond just physical space. Emotionally, it can make you feel as though your home, your sanctuary, has been invaded. These actions can leave you feeling uncomfortable, uneasy, and even anxious. The emotional discomfort that comes with someone overstepping their boundaries cuts far deeper than the physical intrusion itself. When people start to impose their opinions, offer unsolicited advice, or criticize your lifestyle choices, it's as though they believe their way of doing things is superior to yours. This dismissive attitude can lead to frustration, confusion, and eventually harm your self-esteem. The sense that your personal choices and autonomy are being disregarded can weigh heavily on your emotional well-being. This is where Stoicism comes in. In our busy lives, we sometimes forget the importance of setting clear boundaries. In a world that constantly demands our attention, it's easy to let others overstep those boundaries. But, as Stoic philosophy teaches, the key to peace and happiness lies in understanding what we can control and what we cannot. When we set healthy boundaries, we don't just protect our physical space, we also safeguard our emotional and mental well-being. Setting these boundaries is an act of self-respect and inner strength. It allows us to maintain our peace and prevent unnecessary tension from building up. Stoicism encourages us to assert these boundaries, but not with anger or harshness. By respecting our own boundaries and asserting them calmly, we create space not only for ourselves but for those around us as well. It allows us to interact with the world in a way that aligns with our values. Think for a moment about how often you've allowed others to push past your limits. Can you recall instances where you felt drained or anxious because your personal space or peace was violated? How did it feel when you allowed someone to overstep without saying anything? On the other hand, can you remember a time when you firmly but gently set a boundary and felt a powerful sense of relief afterward? That sense of peace that followed is a testament to the power of Stoic wisdom. Assert your boundaries not just to avoid discomfort, but to create a life that is rooted in self-respect and tranquility. By practicing this Stoic approach, we not only preserve our peace, but also lead lives that are aligned with our true selves. When someone oversteps their bounds, instead of reacting with anger, take a step back, breathe, and assert your limits with calmness and clarity. This act of asserting your boundaries, though simple, can transform your life. It helps you stay true to your values and provides you with the mental space to cultivate inner peace. Our responses to life's challenges are what define our happiness and peace, and through Stoic practices, we can find serenity even in the most difficult circumstances. So, take a moment to reflect. How can you apply this wisdom to your life today? Number 2. Negative thinking. Negative thinkers can drain the energy of everyone around them, creating an environment that feels heavy and oppressive. Their constant complaints and pessimistic outlook on life act like a storm cloud, casting a shadow over everything they touch. These individuals often seem unable to find joy or satisfaction in anything, regardless of the circumstances. Instead, they focus on what's wrong with their surroundings, relationships, and even themselves. Their negativity becomes a lens through which they view the world, and it can feel impossible for them to see the positives in anything. When you allow such negative energy into your space, it can start to chip away at your own peace of mind, making it harder to maintain a positive outlook. In this kind of environment, it's easy to get sucked into the same cycle of negative thinking. Before long, you might find yourself feeling mentally exhausted, emotionally drained, and just as pessimistic as the person you're interacting with. Epictetus, a great Stoic philosopher, wisely said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This quote serves as a powerful reminder that although we cannot control the actions or attitudes of others, we can absolutely control our own responses. In Stoicism, we are taught that our internal state is our responsibility. We can't change the behavior of a negative thinker, but we can govern how we allow their negativity to affect us. Setting boundaries with these types of individuals is not just about avoiding conflict. It's about protecting our own mental and emotional peace. It's about maintaining clarity and resilience in the face of negativity, something that is essential for our well-being. Rather than letting negativity take root in our minds, we can choose to stay grounded in our own sense of control and focus on what is within our power. The Stoic practice encourages us to focus on our thoughts, reactions, and actions, because these are the only things we can truly control. This doesn't mean we ignore the reality of difficult situations, nor does it mean we pretend everything is perfect. Instead, it means we acknowledge the challenges we face while maintaining inner calm and stability. Think of Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor who, despite the many wars and responsibilities he had to contend with, found peace in knowing that the only thing he could truly control was himself. His reflections in his meditations serve as a reminder for all of us to take responsibility for our own thoughts and actions, rather than being swept away by the chaos or negativity around us. The next time you find yourself in the presence of a chronic negative thinker, remember that you don't have to absorb their energy. You can choose to listen with empathy, but you don't have to let their pessimism invade your space. Practicing Stoic principles means maintaining a buffer of emotional distance so that you are not overwhelmed by the negativity of others. As Seneca teaches in his letters, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. A lot of the pain we experience from other people's negativity is self-imposed when we allow their attitudes to deeply affect us. By cultivating positive thinking and focusing on what we can control, we can prevent the draining effects of negativity from overwhelming us. In doing so, we create a more peaceful and balanced life, one where we choose how to react and maintain our inner peace, no matter what others may throw our way. If you've ever found yourself surrounded by negative thinkers who drain your energy and cloud your perspective, take a moment to reflect and share your thoughts. Comment, "I choose my peace" below if you've learned to protect your inner peace from negativity and focus on what you can control. Your experiences and insights can inspire others to maintain clarity and resilience, and together we can build a community dedicated to positive thinking and emotional strength. Number 3. Manipulators. In modern life we come across various kinds of people, and while some may simply pass through our day, others can have a deeper impact on our peace of mind and well-being. As we journey through life, particularly under the teachings of Stoicism, we learn the importance of guarding our inner tranquility. One category of people that can significantly disturb our emotional balance is the manipulator. Manipulators are often highly skilled in the art of emotional persuasion, using guilt, fear, and anxiety to twist situations and manipulate others for their own selfish gain. They may try to make you feel responsible for their problems, creating a sense of obligation in you to help them, sometimes even when their behavior is harmful or unjust. This can be deeply disorienting because it clouds your judgment, causing you to doubt your decisions and actions. In this complex and emotionally charged dynamic, it becomes easy to lose touch with your own boundaries and principles. That is where Stoicism provides its invaluable guidance, through emotional detachment and the establishment of clear boundaries. Epictetus, a central figure in Stoic philosophy, teaches us that true wealth is not found in material possessions, but in having fewer desires. By understanding our own needs and emotional limitations, we can distance ourselves from manipulators and maintain our autonomy. When dealing with manipulators, it's essential not to act impulsively. Instead, Stoicism encourages us to pause and reflect, providing us with the mental space to assess the situation objectively. By allowing ourselves this brief moment of clarity, we can decide how to act based on reason rather than emotion. In these moments, we are reminded of the importance of maintaining our peace and not giving in to external forces that seek to destabilize us. In fact, it is not an act of selfishness, but rather an act of self-preservation and virtue to set healthy boundaries. In the modern world, where emotional manipulation is sometimes disguised as concern, affection, or even friendship, it's crucial to learn how to spot these manipulations. Manipulators don't always wear their true intentions on their sleeves. They may cloak their actions in false kindness or pretend to care, but by applying Stoic principles, such as emotional detachment and self-awareness, we can stay grounded in our values. We can keep our peace, unaffected by their attempts to distort our reality. As Marcus Aurelius wisely wrote in his Meditations, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." This quote is a reminder that we hold the power to maintain our emotional clarity and make decisions that align with our values. By adopting the Stoic practices of emotional detachment and rational reflection, we empower ourselves to live a life that is unshaken by external manipulations. We can make choices based on reason, inner strength, and clarity, rather than being swayed by emotional exploitation. This approach not only reflects the wisdom of modern Stoicism, but also provides a powerful framework for living a peaceful and intentional life. By setting firm boundaries and learning to recognize and resist emotional manipulation, we protect our inner peace and create a life rooted in virtue and self-control. Number 4. People who don't keep their promises. When we invite people into our homes, we not only welcome them into our physical space, but also into the intimate world of our values, energy, and peace of mind. It's a big deal who we choose to share our sanctuary with. Stoicism teaches us the power of control. We control how we respond, what we value, and who we allow into our lives. One of the most essential lessons from Stoic philosophy is protecting your inner peace, and this means being mindful of the company you keep. So let's talk about the types of people you should reconsider inviting into your home. People who disrupt your tranquility and test your patience. First, people who fail to keep their promises. This is a big one. You know how frustrating it is when someone gives you their word and then doesn't follow through. Trust is foundational in any relationship, and when promises are broken repeatedly, it shakes that foundation. It can leave you feeling betrayed, disappointed, and stressed. In the world of Stoicism, we understand that while we can't control other people's actions, we can control how we respond. When you deal with unreliable individuals, it's crucial to manage your expectations and protect your peace by setting clear boundaries. As Marcus Aurelius wisely put it, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. This applies to relationships too. Those who don't keep their promises create obstacles for your peace, but how you respond to them can turn that obstacle into an opportunity for growth, resilience, and understanding. Think about this. How often do you let someone else's inconsistency or lack of reliability ruin your day or your mood? The Stoic secret here is to recognize that while you can't change others, you have the power to choose how much their actions affect you. Set the tone for your relationships by guarding your energy and being intentional with your trust. And if people consistently fail to meet your expectations, adjust accordingly. Surround yourself with individuals who honor their word, and you'll find that your environment, your home, will be filled with the respect and stability that fosters peace of mind. It's not just about keeping promises. It's about protecting the sanctuary of your spirit, which Stoicism holds as paramount. I ask you, how much emotional energy are you willing to spend on people who don't respect your time, energy, and trust? The Stoic practice here isn't just about distancing yourself from unreliable people, but about taking active steps to ensure that your inner world remains calm and unshaken. When you fill your life with reliable people, those who keep their promises, you find that your wants and needs shift from external to internal. You need less from the world because you've cultivated a stable, trustworthy world within yourself. In modern life, this lesson is more valuable than ever. Our time is precious, and so is our peace. Don't let it be taken from you by those who don't honor their word. As we practice these Stoic secrets, we start to see that the power lies within us to shape the environment we live in. In doing so, we protect not just our homes, but our hearts. Number 5. People who create conflict and drama. In our increasingly fast-paced and chaotic world, we often find ourselves surrounded by people whose presence seems to disrupt the peace and harmony of our lives. These individuals can be especially harmful within the walls of our own homes, where we seek refuge and comfort. One particular group of people who have the ability to disturb our peace are those who thrive on conflict and drama. It's as if they can't function without creating tension. Whether it's starting arguments, manipulating situations, or simply engaging in petty conflicts, these people often seem to seek power and attention through chaos. They feed off the drama, using it to validate their existence, and in the process, they drain the emotional energy of everyone around them. If you've ever experienced this, you know how exhausting it can be. No matter how hard you try to relax, no matter how much you seek peace, their presence makes it nearly impossible to feel at ease. It's like living in a constant state of tension, and that can quickly wear you down, both physically and mentally. It's important to recognize that while these individuals might attempt to disturb your sense of well-being, you have the power to decide how you respond. This is where Stoicism can offer us profound wisdom. Stoic philosophy teaches that we cannot control the behavior of others, but we do have complete control over how we react to them. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, often emphasized the importance of focusing on what we can control, and that is our own actions, thoughts, and emotions. When dealing with people who thrive on conflict and drama, it's crucial to remember that engaging in their chaos is a choice. We don't need to get pulled into their vortex of negativity. Stoicism teaches us to detach ourselves from the drama and not allow it to affect our inner peace. The ability to distance ourselves from the noise and remain calm is a key Stoic practice, and it helps us maintain clarity and balance in our lives. By setting boundaries and choosing not to respond to their provocations, we can preserve our tranquility. Stoicism teaches us that by focusing on what is within our control, our responses, we can create a shield of inner peace, protecting ourselves from unnecessary turmoil. Marcus Aurelius, another prominent Stoic philosopher, wisely stated, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been." This powerful idea encourages us to take ownership of our emotional well-being and reminds us that we always have the power to control how we perceive and react to external situations. So, the next time you encounter someone who thrives on creating conflict or drama, ask yourself, how much energy do you want to give to this person? Do you want to let their negativity seep into your emotional space? Or do you want to maintain a calm and centered mind? Adopting a Stoic mindset can help you navigate such situations with more grace and emotional strength. It empowers you to rise above the disruptions and maintain your peace. By doing so, you not only protect yourself, but also create an environment where calmness and serenity can flourish. In the end, the best response to those who bring conflict is not to engage with them on their level, but to respond with the quiet strength of inner peace. Number 6. Irresponsible people. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to be overwhelmed by constant demands, tasks, and responsibilities. One of the key teachings of Stoic philosophy is how to carefully select the people you allow into your life, as our time and energy are incredibly valuable. Stoicism offers wisdom on guarding our peace, and understanding the types of people we should avoid is an essential part of this process. One such person to avoid is the irresponsible individual. These individuals often fail to keep their commitments, miss appointments, and neglect their duties, leading to chaos and frustration. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, wisely said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one." This emphasizes that instead of wasting energy trying to fix others, we should focus on leading by example and setting clear boundaries. By doing so, we avoid unnecessary disruptions in our lives. Another type to steer clear of is the drama seeker. These people thrive on creating emotional chaos and drama. Every situation becomes a crisis, and they drag you into their whirlwind of emotions. Seneca reminds us in Letters to Lucilius, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." By engaging with drama seekers, we risk allowing their emotional turbulence to disturb our inner peace. Stoicism teaches us to control our reactions, and by distancing ourselves from such individuals, we protect our tranquility. Next, we must be wary of the manipulative person, those who use charm or guilt to exploit others. These individuals might promise one thing but fail to follow through, or they might use passive aggression to manipulate situations. Epictetus advises, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." To preserve our integrity and peace of mind, we must avoid manipulators, as their negative influence can cloud our judgment and create unnecessary stress. The naysayer is another person to avoid. These individuals constantly criticize, doubt, and discourage others. Their negativity can weigh heavily on your confidence and self-worth. As Epictetus notes in The Art of Living, no man is free who is not master of himself. Instead of surrounding yourself with people who bring you down, seek out those who encourage and uplift you. Positive relationships can enhance your personal growth and allow you to thrive. Similarly, we must be cautious around untrustworthy people. These individuals may betray your confidence or act in ways that undermine your values. Trust is a cornerstone of Stoicism, and as Marcus Aurelius teaches, when you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to think, to enjoy, to love. Trustworthy relationships form the foundation of a peaceful life, so it's crucial to distance yourself from those who do not honor that trust. Lastly, the takers are people who drain your resources without giving anything in return. Whether it's time, energy, or material wealth, these individuals never reciprocate. By cultivating relationships with those who share and contribute, we create a more balanced and fulfilling life. The Stoic secrets to managing these types of individuals lie in recognizing that our time and energy are finite. By carefully selecting the people we engage with and choosing those who bring positivity, inspiration, and support, we align our lives with Stoic virtues like wisdom, courage, and self-control. In a world full of distractions, Stoicism provides a roadmap for intentional living, focused on what truly matters. By practicing discernment in our relationships, we can create a space for peace, virtue, and meaningful connections. You've made it halfway through this insightful video, and I want to congratulate you for taking the time to improve yourself. It's no small feat, and I'm proud of your commitment. Now, I humbly ask for a favor. Please leave a comment below, as it really helps the channel grow and allows me to continue creating content like this. If you're not sure what to comment, simply write "Choose your circle wisely" so I know you've made it this far. And remember to hit that subscribe button to keep receiving more valuable content. Let's continue this journey together. In conclusion, when inviting someone into your home, it's essential to carefully consider their personality and behavior. Individuals who disrespect personal boundaries, constantly bring negative energy, or lack responsibility can harm our peace of mind. Avoiding such people helps us maintain a healthy and comfortable living environment. However, to achieve this, we need strategies to protect ourselves, which we will explore in the next section. Additional insights for protecting your peace and well-being. Now, let's dive into effective ways to protect your peace and mental well-being. These methods not only help you remove harmful influences, but also allow you to build a stable and happy life. Let's explore how to safeguard yourself and maintain tranquility through Stoic principles, with practical strategies you can apply today. Number 1. The importance of protecting your peace through boundaries. In today's fast-paced world, where we are constantly bombarded with external pressures and noise, it becomes increasingly important to preserve our peace by setting clear and firm boundaries with others. Boundaries are not mere rules or restrictions. They are essential protections for our emotional and mental well-being, acting as invisible shields that defend our time, energy, and space. In essence, setting boundaries means taking control of what we allow into our lives, ensuring that we focus on what truly matters and prioritize our needs without becoming drained by the demands and expectations of others. Boundaries are an exercise in self-control, establishing clear limits on what is acceptable and what is not. By doing so, they allow us to thrive in an environment where our well-being is protected and we are able to dedicate our energy to pursuits that align with our true values and goals. To establish effective boundaries, we must approach the process with calmness, assertiveness, and clarity. This does not mean being aggressive or confrontational with others. Instead, it involves communicating our needs and limits in a way that is respectful and understanding. When we assert our boundaries, we are not attempting to push others away, but rather we are protecting the space that we need to grow and flourish. In the modern world, this practice often involves learning to say no to things and people that do not align with our core values or personal goals. Saying no is not an act of defiance. Rather, it is a reflection of self-respect and inner strength. It requires us to be clear about what truly matters and to stay true to our own priorities, even if it means disappointing others or facing temporary discomfort. Boundaries, therefore, help preserve the quality of our relationships by ensuring they are built on mutual respect, understanding, and appreciation, rather than manipulation, guilt, or exhaustion. As we begin to implement and enforce these boundaries in our lives, it's essential to remember that they are not about isolating ourselves or shutting others out. Instead, boundaries are about creating an environment that allows us to be our best selves. They provide the space for growth, creativity, and personal development. This practice is one of the core lessons of Stoicism. The power to shape our lives does not lie in changing or controlling others, but in mastering our own responses, maintaining peace in the face of external chaos, and remaining centered on what truly matters. The Stoic approach to boundary setting teaches us that by controlling what is within our power, our thoughts, actions, and responses, we can navigate life's challenges with grace and dignity. By setting clear boundaries, we are not only protecting our mental and emotional health, but also building a life that is balanced, meaningful, and aligned with our deepest values. It's through this practice that we can truly find peace amidst the noise of the world and cultivate a life of purpose and contentment. Number 2, the power of emotional independence in relationship. The importance of emotional independence in relationships cannot be overstated. It serves as a crucial foundation for maintaining peace, stability, and emotional balance in your life. Emotional independence means that you no longer rely on others for constant validation or emotional support. Instead, you cultivate your own self-worth and emotional resilience, learning to stabilize yourself from within. It's about recognizing that your happiness, sense of value, and peace are not dependent on how others treat or perceive you. Imagine walking through life and engaging in relationships, not from a place of need, but from a position of strength. Picture yourself in situations where you no longer feel the pressure to seek approval or constantly look to others for reassurance. When you are emotionally independent, your value is rooted in your inner self, not in others' opinions. You make decisions based on your values and needs, and not on the fear of rejection or the desire to please others. This philosophy aligns deeply with Stoic wisdom. One of the core teachings of Stoicism is that we cannot control the emotions or reactions of others, but we can control our own. This realization is liberating because it empowers you to create a life where you are not subject to the whims of others, and you are no longer vulnerable to emotional manipulation. By taking control of your own emotions, you protect yourself from the stress and burnout that often comes with trying to manage the expectations and demands of others. Let me illustrate this with a personal story. A close friend of mine once shared that every time they spent time with a particular group of people, they felt emotionally drained. Despite enjoying their company on the surface, they realized that they were constantly seeking validation from them, craving approval, attention, or affirmation. They couldn't understand why they felt so tired after each gathering. It wasn't that they didn't value these relationships, rather, they were exhausting themselves by relying on others to define their worth. One day, my friend decided to shift their focus. They stopped obsessing over how others saw them and began to focus more on what they truly wanted and needed. They embraced their own emotional strength and stopped looking outside themselves for approval. It wasn't an overnight change, but it was profound. They began to feel more energized, more connected, and most importantly, more at peace. They hadn't stopped caring about their friends. Rather, they had learned to care more about their own inner state and emotional needs. This was the power of emotional independence. What my friend learned is exactly what Stoicism teaches us. Emotional independence leads to healthier, more genuine relationships, where both parties can connect on a deeper, more authentic level. Without the constant need for validation, you can engage in relationships freely and without expectation. Emotional independence creates space for growth, mutual respect, and understanding. This does not mean withdrawing from others or shutting yourself off emotionally. It simply means that you are no longer relying on external sources to define your worth or your emotions. As you think about this idea, I encourage you to reflect on your own relationships. How often do you seek validation from others? Are there times when you feel emotionally drained because you've been too focused on gaining approval or reassurance? How might your relationships change if you could stand firm in your own self-worth and emotional resilience, regardless of how others might view you? Emotional independence isn't about avoiding relationships or isolating yourself. It's about strengthening your inner resilience so that you can face life's challenges with more clarity, peace, and emotional strength. When you stop seeking external validation, you become more capable of building connections that are deep, meaningful, and authentic. This is one of the Stoic secrets to living a fulfilling and harmonious life. By learning emotional independence, we become not only more resilient in relationships, but more resilient in life. Number 3, practicing Stoicism in daily life to build inner strength. Living a peaceful, fulfilling life is achievable through modern Stoicism. More than just a philosophy, it serves as a practical guide for navigating daily life with clarity and calmness. But how can you apply Stoic principles when everything around you feels chaotic? Stoicism teaches the importance of focusing on what we can control and letting go of what we cannot. By embracing this idea, we develop emotional strength and resilience. Life constantly presents situations beyond our control. People, events, circumstances. Stoicism encourages us to accept these challenges without frustration or despair. It's not about avoiding difficulties or suppressing emotions, but learning how to manage them effectively. Practicing these principles daily builds the strength needed to face life's hurdles. What makes Stoicism so powerful is its practicality. It doesn't require you to withdraw from life. Instead, it empowers you to engage with the world on your own terms. A key Stoic practice is self-reflection. Have you ever taken a moment at the end of your day to reflect on your actions, thoughts, and emotions? This simple act can be transformative, helping you evaluate whether your behavior aligns with your values and providing clarity to make necessary adjustments. Marcus Aurelius, a leading Stoic philosopher, used journaling for personal growth, famously stating, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This quote reminds us that while we can't control external events, we always control how we respond to them. Daily reflection helps you regain control over your life and thoughts. Incorporating Stoicism into your daily life doesn't require grand gestures. It's the small, consistent practices that make the difference. Journaling is one example. You don't have to write a novel. Just a few lines about your day, emotions, and how you handle challenges can help process your thoughts. Another important tool is mindfulness. Being mindful means being present and aware of your thoughts and feelings without letting them dictate your actions. This can be challenging in our fast-paced world full of distractions, but by dedicating just a few minutes each day to center yourself and focus on your breath, you create a mental sanctuary. This self-discipline, rooted in modern Stoicism, helps you stay calm even when life feels overwhelming. Emotional detachment is another essential Stoic practice. It doesn't mean suppressing your emotions, but rather not allowing them to control your reactions. How often do you find yourself reacting impulsively to a comment or an unexpected situation? Stoicism teaches you to pause, reflect, and act based on logic and your values, enabling you to see the bigger picture. Think about a time when you reacted emotionally to something. How did it affect you? Would stepping back have allowed you to handle it more thoughtfully? Emotional detachment helps maintain inner peace, no matter how chaotic life becomes. By practicing these Stoic exercises daily, you develop emotional strength and resilience, better equipping you to face life's challenges. Imagine how your life could change by integrating these Stoic practices. Picture waking up each day with a sense of purpose, knowing you can control your reactions, thoughts, and actions. Visualize yourself facing challenges with clarity and calmness, understanding that external events only disturb your peace if you allow them to. It starts with small steps: reflection, journaling, mindfulness, and choosing how to respond to emotion. These tools help you build inner strength and live a life aligned with your values. As you apply Stoic principles, you'll notice a shift in how you approach life's obstacles. You'll develop the resilience to handle adversity while maintaining peace. Modern Stoicism offers a timeless roadmap for cultivating inner strength and emotional resilience, helping you lead a fulfilling and tranquil life, regardless of what the world throws your way. As you consider integrating Stoicism into your daily life and begin the journey toward building inner strength, share your commitment with our community. Comment, "I am ready to embrace Stoicism," to show that you're taking the first step towards greater clarity, emotional resilience, and a more fulfilling life. Let's walk this path together, one thoughtful practice at a time. Number 4. Surrounding yourself with positive influences. The people you surround yourself with can profoundly influence your mental and emotional well-being. Just as a garden thrives in fertile soil, so too does your mind flourish in the company of positive, uplifting individuals. These people help create an environment that nurtures your growth, fosters optimism, and inspires you to reach your highest potential. On the other hand, negative, draining individuals can have the opposite effect, slowly eroding your peace of mind, filling your days with doubt, and pulling you into patterns of negativity. When you allow people who do not support or encourage you into your life, you inadvertently open the door to stress, anxiety, and unnecessary conflict. While we cannot change the nature of others, we do have control over our relationships, and the people we choose to bring into our lives play a major role in shaping our inner peace. By consciously choosing relationships that uplift and inspire us, we can cultivate a space that supports our personal development and overall well-being. This is one of the key Stoic secrets, understanding what is within our control and what is not. We cannot control the actions or behaviors of others, but we can choose who we allow to influence our lives. The Stoic teachings remind us that we should not let ourselves be dragged down by the negativity or toxicity of others. Instead, we have the power to build relationships with people who share our values, who offer encouragement, and who promote positivity. These relationships serve as pillars of strength, providing us with a stable, peaceful environment where we can grow and thrive. In the same way, the quality of your relationships can elevate or diminish the peace and joy you experience. It's also important to remember that distancing ourselves from negative or toxic individuals is not an act of cruelty. It is a form of self-care. Stoicism teaches us the importance of maintaining our mental and emotional health, and part of that is setting boundaries with those whose influence disrupts our peace. This can be difficult, especially if these people are family members or longtime friends, but sometimes protecting your inner peace requires making tough decisions. By setting these boundaries, we prevent the toxic behaviors of others from seeping into our lives, thus preserving our emotional health and creating a space where we can thrive. It's like the Stoic practice of focusing on what is within our control. We cannot change how others behave, but we can choose to limit our exposure to negativity. The Stoic approach to relationships emphasizes the values of mutual respect, understanding, and compassion. While we cannot avoid all negative interactions, we can foster connections that bring value to our lives and strengthen our character. Surrounding ourselves with positive influences is not just about avoiding negativity. It's about actively choosing relationships that add meaning, inspire growth, and contribute to a peaceful life. I've personally found that when I focus on nurturing these kinds of relationships, the stress and chaos of life become much easier to navigate. This choice to surround ourselves with those who encourage us to be the best version of ourselves is one of the most powerful forms of self-care, and it plays a key role in creating the kind of life we all seek. one filled with purpose, joy, and peace. Number 5. How to recognize and handle energy vampires. In today's world, we often encounter individuals who, unknowingly or intentionally, drain our energy, commonly referred to as energy vampires. These people leave us feeling emotionally, mentally, and physically exhausted, even after brief interactions. They focus on their own problems, rarely offering support or positivity in return. Instead of creating a meaningful connection, their constant negativity overwhelms us. This can seriously affect our well-being if we don't manage it properly. Modern Stoicism offers valuable insights into how to handle such situations by encouraging us to focus on what we can control, particularly our response to energy vampires. One of Stoicism's core teachings is the importance of protecting our inner peace and maintaining control over our emotional responses. Recognizing when someone's negativity is affecting us is essential. When we allow others' negativity to affect our thoughts, we open ourselves to emotional chaos. Energy vampires thrive on pulling others into their emotional turmoil. By reacting impulsively, we lose control over our own state of mind. Stoicism teaches us to stay grounded, to pause before reacting, and to recognize the behavior for what it is. We can choose not to engage, protecting our energy and maintaining peace. Setting clear boundaries is crucial for preserving our emotional well-being. Stoicism teaches us to understand our limitations and be disciplined in managing our interactions. By recognizing the impact that energy vampires have on us, we can limit our exposure to them without guilt. It's easy to fall into people-pleasing tendencies, thinking we must always help others. But Stoicism reminds us that protecting our peace is not selfish. It's vital for living a virtuous life. As Epictetus said, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. This applies to our emotional lives as well. By reducing emotional dependencies and limiting exposure to negativity, we preserve our inner strength. Emotional regulation is another essential Stoic tool for handling energy vampires. Through emotional detachment, we can engage with others without letting their negativity affect us. Detachment doesn't mean being unfeeling. It means understanding that we are not responsible for others' emotions. Stoicism teaches us to observe without becoming entangled, responding with understanding but not letting it change our mood. This allows us to interact calmly, protecting our energy and fostering healthier, more balanced relationships. In a world filled with stress and negativity, it's easy to get swept up in others' emotional currents. But Stoicism offers a way to reclaim our emotional energy and focus on what truly matters. By practicing detachment, setting boundaries, and recognizing when someone is draining us, we create a space of calm within ourselves. The goal isn't to reject people, but to engage with them in a way that doesn't compromise our peace. Marcus Aurelius reminds us how much time you will waste if you do not learn to guard your inner peace. This wisdom is essential when dealing with energy vampires. Applying Stoic principles helps us protect our emotional resources, ensuring that our energy is reserved for relationships that uplift us. Managing interactions with energy vampires is essential for living a balanced, peaceful life. Through Stoicism, we learn to recognize the signs of emotional exhaustion, set boundaries, and avoid draining interactions. By doing so, we protect our well-being, nurturing positive relationships that contribute to our happiness and peace of mind. In a world filled with distractions, practicing Stoicism provides a path to inner strength and clarity, leading to a life of purpose and fulfillment. Number 6. Maintaining serenity through Stoic wisdom. In today's fast-paced world, it can feel like serenity is a rare luxury, We are constantly bombarded with noise, distractions, and demands that threaten our peace of mind. Yet what if I told you that maintaining serenity doesn't have to be as difficult as we often make it? Through the wisdom of Stoicism, we have the tools to not only find inner peace, but also to protect it from the chaos around us. Imagine a storm raging outside, heavy rain, strong winds. But inside your house, it's calm, peaceful, and secure. That's the essence of serenity that Stoicism teaches us, the ability to remain unshaken in the face of external chaos. Serenity is more than just a fleeting moment of calm. It is a way of life, a mindset that allows you to face any challenge with grace and composure. One of the Stoic secrets I've come to realize is that serenity isn't about controlling the world around you, it's about controlling your response to it. Life will always present you with things beyond your control, whether it's the actions of others or the unpredictability of events. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them." That's where the real power lies. When we focus on what we can control, our thoughts, our actions, and our reactions, we build a foundation of peace that external chaos cannot easily shake. Take a moment and think about this. How often do you let something outside of your control disturb your serenity? Maybe someone cuts you off in traffic, or you face an unexpected setback at work. In those moments, it's easy to let your emotions take over. But this is where the Stoic practice of emotional detachment comes in. Emotional detachment doesn't mean you don't feel. It means you don't allow those feelings to control you. By practicing self-reflection and mindfulness, you can observe your emotions without letting them dictate your actions. It's about responding with intention, not reacting impulsively. Let me share a modern story to illustrate this. A friend of mine, Sarah, recently faced a situation where her boss unfairly criticized her work in front of her colleagues. Naturally, she felt hurt and angry, but instead of reacting immediately, she took a deep breath and applied the Stoic principle of focusing on what she could control. She couldn't control her boss's words, but she could control how she responded. She took a step back, didn't let her emotions dictate her actions, and calmly addressed the issue later, seeking constructive feedback. In that moment, Sarah demonstrated serenity. She was not shaken by the storm of unfair criticism, but instead chose to respond in a way that preserved her peace and integrity. Now, think about your own life. When was the last time you faced a challenging situation and responded with serenity? It's not about avoiding discomfort or pretending nothing bothers you. It's about mastering your response to discomfort. Serenity, as Stoicism teaches us, is not the absence of difficulties, but the ability to stay grounded and focused no matter what life throws at you. So, I ask you, what would it look like if you applied this Stoic secret in your daily life? How would it change the way you navigate your challenges? Remember, serenity isn't something you either have or don't have. It's something you practice every day. Each opportunity to respond to discomfort is an opportunity to reinforce your inner peace. By focusing on what you can control and practicing mindfulness, you can cultivate a serene mindset that allows you to stay peaceful and resilient through any circumstance. So, the next time you find yourself in a stressful situation, pause and ask yourself, how can I respond with serenity today? This is the path to mastering not just your emotions, but your life. The lesson of serenity through Stoic wisdom is clear. Life will always be unpredictable, but how you respond is where your power lies. By practicing self-reflection, emotional detachment, and focusing on what you can control, You protect your inner peace from being swept away by external chaos. This is one of the greatest Stoic secrets that anyone can apply, and by doing so, you'll find that serenity is not a rare luxury, but a way of life. Number 7. Choosing relationships that promote your well-being. In our fast-paced, ever-demanding world, one of the most powerful decisions you can make is choosing the right people to surround yourself with. I know it might sound simple, but the people you let into your life can have a huge impact on your mental and emotional health. Think about it for a second. Positive relationships, those that nurture, support, and encourage, can foster growth, happiness, and a sense of belonging. You've probably experienced the difference. Being around people who uplift you feels like a breath of fresh air, while relationships that drain your energy can leave you feeling exhausted and defeated. Now, I'm not talking about avoiding tough situations or challenging people, but rather about being intentional with the relationships you nurture. Modern Stoicism teaches us a critical lesson here. While we cannot control the actions of others, we can absolutely control who we let into our lives. This is a powerful concept. The Stoic approach encourages self-awareness and self-respect, reminding us that we don't need to tolerate toxic or draining relationships just because they've been part of our lives for a while. Instead, we have the power to choose relationships that enhance our well-being and contribute to our personal growth. Think about it. How often have you found yourself stuck in unhealthy dynamics with people who bring negativity into your life? We've all been there. It's easy to get caught up in relationships that feel obligatory or out of habit. But Stoicism asks us to question, does this relationship promote my well-being, or does it drain my energy and peace? When we prioritize relationships with people who share our values, encourage us to be our best selves, and bring positivity into our lives, we are essentially creating a safe, stable environment where we can thrive. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, once said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one." This applies to relationships too. It's not about complaining or wishing for change. It's about being proactive and choosing relationships that are healthy and supportive. You deserve to be surrounded by people who lift you up, who respect and understand you, and who share your goals. These kinds of relationships bring emotional stability and play a crucial role in living a fulfilling life. I want you to ask yourself, are the people around you today helping you grow and reach your potential? Are they uplifting and supportive, or are they draining and distracting? Modern Stoicism teaches us that we have the power to curate our relationships, just as we curate our thoughts and actions. Choosing relationships that promote your well-being isn't selfish. It's an essential step towards living a peaceful, happy, and fulfilling life. In the end, you have the power to decide who gets to be a part of your journey. And let me tell you, when you choose wisely, the rewards are immeasurable. Let me ask you this. Are you ready to take control of your life and choose relationships that help you grow and feel at peace? Remember, true power comes not from controlling others, but from mastering yourself. Practicing Stoicism teaches us that we have the power to decide which relationships will help us grow, bring us peace, and encourage our potential. Like this video and comment below. Choose relationships, choose peace. Now let's move on to the final lesson. Don't miss it. Number 8. Developing self-respect and personal integrity. In life, developing self-respect and personal integrity is not just a choice, but the bedrock of emotional strength and inner peace. This is something I've come to realize over time, and I know you will too. It begins with understanding your inherent worth and honoring that in every decision you make. It's about staying true to your values, even when the world tries to pull you in different directions. Self-respect isn't about arrogance or pride. It's about acknowledging who you are and the principles you stand for. The great Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." This resonates deeply because true freedom comes when we act in ways that reflect our values, regardless of external pressures. In today's world, where opinions are constantly thrown at us, I encourage you to not let the noise dictate your self-worth. In relationships, self-respect means knowing your boundaries and asserting your needs without feeling guilty. You have the right to be treated with dignity, and when others cross those boundaries, it's important to stand firm, protecting your emotional space. This isn't about being combative, but about honoring yourself. The Stoic secrets tell us that we have control over our actions and reactions, and by living in alignment with our beliefs, we not only cultivate self-respect, but we also strengthen our emotional foundation. When we live with personal integrity, we ensure that our actions are consistent with our values, even when it's inconvenient or challenging. Marcus Aurelius, another Stoic master, taught us to be yourself, but be a good version of yourself. This speaks volumes. Integrity is about being true to who you are, not who others want you to be. The moment we betray our own values, we lose a piece of ourselves, and that erodes our inner peace. By acting consistently with integrity, you foster a sense of confidence and resilience. You strengthen your emotional armor, making it easier to face life's challenges. When you nurture self-respect and integrity, you'll find that you no longer need others to validate you. Your sense of self-worth becomes anchored within you, and you can engage in relationships in a way that is healthy and balanced. You no longer rely on external sources for validation, but rather live confidently in your own truth. In today's world, where it's easy to get lost in the opinions of others, or to compromise your values for the sake of approval, developing these qualities ensures that you make decisions that lead to a fulfilling life. By respecting yourself, making choices that honor your principles, and acting with integrity, you build a strong foundation for peace, confidence, and emotional resilience. This doesn't mean life will always be easy. There will be moments of doubt or temptation, but the Stoic path teaches us that self-respect and integrity provide the strength to persevere. So I urge you, as I remind myself, to keep these Stoic principles close to heart. When you align your actions with your values, you strengthen your inner peace, gain confidence, and build the emotional strength necessary to live a truly fulfilling life. In conclusion, protecting your peace is a journey that involves setting boundaries and embracing the wisdom of Stoicism. The people we allow into our lives can greatly impact our mental and emotional well-being. By recognizing and distancing ourselves from toxic influences, we gain control over our reactions and create space for positive, meaningful relationships. Stoicism offers powerful tools for emotional resilience, helping us navigate life's challenges with calm and clarity. Let these Stoic secrets guide you toward living a life of purpose, serenity, and true fulfillment. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to Stoic Secrets. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you can stay updated with our upcoming content, filled with more wisdom to help you live a peaceful, purposeful life.